to the weekend show. Frequencies wild on the wave. Weekend warriors you crave. Static crackle, stories fly. Heroes born and never die. Ham radios, they never sleep. Tune in now, secrets keep. Weekend warriors on the line. Echoes of a battle sign. From the front lines to your ear, here's your show now, loud and clear. Airwaves buzzing, tales unfold. Voices young and voices old. Army, Navy, air and sea. Tune in now, you're riding free. Mic on loud, our crowds roar. Every tale you can't ignore. Through the static, truth will shine. Tune your dial, it's time to ride. Weekend warriors on the line. Echoes of a battle sign. From the front lines to your ear, here's your show now, loud and clear. Mic on loud, our crowds roar. Every tale you can't ignore. Through the static, truth will shine. Tune your dial, it's time to ride. Weekend warriors on the line. Echoes of a battle sign. From the front lines to your ear, here's your show now, loud and clear. Weekend warriors on the line.
Listen up, maggots. This is the Grouch coming at you loud and clear with another edition of the Weekend Warriors podcast. This is the place for real, no bullshit talk on the harsh realities and irreverent humor around military life. So sit the fuck down, strap in, and get ready for a raw, no-holds-barred discussion. This is the Weekend Warriors. All right. Welcome, evening warriors. This is another episode of the Weekend Warriors podcast live. But tonight is not about the normal show. Tonight is not about sugarcoating. It's not about playing nice. It's about being real. There's been a lot happening in this country. Cultural shifts, people turning on each other. And yes, let me tell you, the assassination of Charlie Kirk is bothering me. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to have a conversation because we need to talk. In fact, we have to talk. Politics? No, not tonight. That's not what matters tonight. What matters tonight is us. Everyday people trying to figure out what the hell is happening around the world. The country's on edge. People are angry. People are divided. People are scared. Let me tell you, anger doesn't fix problems. Division doesn't help communities. And fear does not make us free. The things that were once bedrock values feel like they're slipping. Things like free speech, family, community, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These aren't fringe ideas. They're supposed to be the heart of who we are as people and who we are as Americans. So, why is it that it feels like every time somebody opens their mouth, they're at the risk of being silenced or worse? Regardless of how you felt about Charlie Kirk, the fact that a political assassination on American soil happened in today's day and age, that's something we can't let go. It sends a message, and it's not a good one. It sends the message that violence is on the table, and it's a way of shutting people up. And that's not okay. So tonight we need to ask ourselves, where does this end if we don't push back against it? I realize most of the Weekend Warrior episodes don't start with a monologue like this, but bear with me because what I have to say is important, and this is to get the conversation rolling. We need to get back to community, talking to your neighbors, respecting one another, especially when you don't agree. We need to teach our kids strength, resilience, responsibility, not fear and victimhood. And we've got to stand tall when the storm hits, because believe me, the storm is here. I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't have all the answers. Hell, I don't know if I have any of the answers. But I know this: we cannot stay silent. We cannot stay comfortable. And we can't keep waiting for someone else to fix what is wrong. This is our country, our culture, our community, and it's time for us to hold the line. No surrender, no retreat. Let's get into it. So, look, we've got to talk about what's been going on lately. And it's not just isolated incidents, it's becoming a trend that we can't ignore. We've had multiple school shootings in the past couple of years where the shooter identified as trans. And recently, the Missouri school shooter, which I will not name on this stream, the same thing. This isn't me painting broad strokes with a paintbrush. This is me looking at facts as they've played out. I've got a bunch of things to share with you tonight. It's probably going to piss you off because it certainly pissed me off. As of right now, to my understanding, we've got the shooter of Charlie Kirk in custody. Not only did this individual carry out a political assassination, but he literally had bullets marked with trans ideology and fascist lines. So I want you to stop and think about that for a second. Bullets with ideology written on them. And this isn't the first one, okay? But this isn't protest. This is not disagreeing with someone. This is literal hatred weaponized. I want to say I don't care what your identity is. I don't care what flag you fly, as long as it's the flag of a nation, because the other flags are all made up. They're all make believe to represent certain things. If you think that the American flag behind me is racist and wrong, then you might want to question your allegiance to this country and what the flag behind me actually stands for. Because this flag is for everyone that is an American. Every American, regardless of race, color, creed, it doesn't matter. This is our flag. So I don't want to get too far off topic here. The opening of this conversation is scripted, and for those of you that have seen my Weekend Warrior episodes, you know that I tend to not do the scripted stuff, because when I do the scripted stuff, it comes off as being scripted and it comes off as being inauthentic, and it's not me. Um, I've written some things down just so that I can kind of follow along and kind of keep my thoughts collected. But you in the chat and those who choose to join me on stream, you're going to be the ones helping to guide this conversation, because it's it's not about me just voicing my opinions. I want this to truly be a conversation, because one of the things one of the things that Charlie Kirk was well known for is open forum debate. And when we stop talking, that's when it becomes very easy to say, well, this is good and this is evil. And if it's evil, that it needs to be eradicated, and violence can be used as an acceptable means of eradicating that evil. We have to have a dialogue. It is 2025. We can't settle things with a duel like we could in the 1700s. Um, we can't stay silent about this. We can't let the fear of being called names or being canceled stop us from voicing our opinions. The First Amendment is there for all Americans. It protects our right for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, freedom of the press, and so much more. It, I think that a lot of people have kind of forgotten why this country was founded and the principles that this country was founded upon. For the simple thing of like, all right, one example was the House wanted to have a moment of silence for Charlie, and I believe it was Lauren Boebert had asked that, you know, because a silent prayer is silent, it's really meaningless, right? A moment of silence, yes, it's nice, but it doesn't lack this. It doesn't have the same impact as a prayer would have. I'm not a religious person. I I said to hell with religion when I was 12 years old. I was raised Roman Catholic. Many people were, um, but I believe that there's a big cultural shift that has happened in the last 20, 30 years where people have gotten sick of organized religion and the corrupt institutions that are organized religion. So I'm just going to say, like, it doesn't matter what you believe, right? As long as you understand the basic fundamentals of morality, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Just be a good person. Treat people with goodness. That's what matters. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up and I wanted to point out and kind of drive this conversation a little bit is both sides of the fence, whether it's radical left or radical right, both sides are wrong. Okay. But the left claims that they're the people and party of inclusion, love, and peace and tolerance. And that's the banner they wave. But when you look at what's happening, the actions don't match the words. We've got numerous shootings, and many of them are tied to people who are clearly struggling with mental illness. And instead of getting help, instead of finding a way to heal, they picked up a weapon and killed innocents. Like, that's not good. That's not what we should be doing. And so I want to have that in your mind so we can kind of touch on that and talk on that because it's not just the shootings. It's the riots and the looting and the summer of love 2020 where literally cities were being burnt and the riots were supposed to be for helping the black Americans, but yet they were looting and burning black owned businesses. This stuff just doesn't make sense, and it's rotten. It's rotten. I don't understand. And so, all right, here we are. If you believe in peace, if you believe in love, and you believe in tolerance, I challenge you to prove it. Show it in your actions because right now everything that we're seeing is hate and destruction, and these things are being dressed as virtue, and it's not right. It's not peace. It's just chaos. So, um, uh, all right, I lost track of myself here, but anyways, I want to open this up to the chat. I want to invite the people in the chat that want to join me on stream. The link is there. It's pinned at the top. Please feel free to come on and join me. Let's have an open discussion because I don't know about you, but I'm frustrated. I'm fed up. And the things that I'm going to share with you tonight, they're going to frustrate you, and you're going to feel very similar to the way I feel. I can almost guarantee it. So, with that being said, thank you for being here on this episode of the Weekend Warriors. It's a special live edition. It is September 12th. Yesterday was the anniversary of 9/11, and I never forget. Okay, never forget. I know exactly where I was and what I was doing on that day, and it's no different than December 7th, 1941. That was the other time that the U.S. was attacked on our own soil, Pearl Harbor. Right? These are dates that we should always memorialize and honor and cherish. So, all right. With that, let's go to the chat. And good to see Chris Radio Life and Chris Bricker and one JUR in there. I believe I saw Renee Six. Hey Vern, good to see you. Who else am I missing? Well, it looks like that's what we got in the chat. But we got 11 watching, and I'm sure the numbers will grow as we go. But I don't know. Let's see, chat. Okay, you've heard my monologue. You've heard my piece. What say you? Give me some feedback here, and let's open the blog up. And like I said, if you wanna join me on the stream, um, you can do that. The link is pinned at the top. Prep hand Paul, good to see you in there, buddy. And while we're at it, let's give away some memberships, and I'm sure some new people might find the channel and maybe like what I'm talking about. I got a full glass tonight, boys. Oh, look at that. N1JUR and Prep Ham Paul gifted memberships again. You guys just keep getting lucky. Shannon this evening. Uh, it's a nice scotch, and I very much enjoy it. It's the classic Lottie. Um, so Prep Ham Paul posted. If you aren't sickened by what happened, then you aren't a normal human. You probably need to check yourself. I agree with you, Paul. Yeah. Good evening, Dave. Thanks for being here. Now, hopefully, we don't have any audio issues this evening. I did kind of go through everything in preparation, and so the things that I share, you should have good, clear audio on. Good evening, Dave. K Booty. Good to see you. Hey, Parker. So here, let's start with some of the things that I want to share. Um, if you're on X, there is a page that you should follow, and here we're going to switch my view. So this right here, this is Maurice, the native patriot. Really good dude, and he's got the Cowboys and Indians podcast and the Patriots Prayer Network, and he's got a fantastic little mission with his podcast, and he's trying to create just a network of patriotic Americans because for whatever reason it seems like there's a big divide and people that say that if you fly the American flag, then you must be a racist. And I tell you, That just doesn't make sense to me. It really just doesn't make sense. But so yeah, so go give him a follow. Ancestry. I consider myself blessed to be an American, equal to all I share this country with. Something happened in the early 2010s when legacy media got into social media. Rage bait drew clicks and money. They learned that drawing division between us was profitable, and many of you eat it right up. They convinced you that men could be women and women could be men, that this country was built by white men for white men, completely erasing the contributions of Native and Black Americans. I revere this country and her founding. My ancestors conquered my other ancestors. It's history. It's to be learned from, not to be used as a cudgel to whip your political opponents into guilt driven submission when they were never slave owners and you were never slaves. I believe in Christ. I believe he's the way, the truth, and the only viable way forward to prosperity in this country. I fail so often as a Christian myself, but work diligently to be better every day. I believe that there are outside forces doing everything in their power to bring America to her knees and using the useful idiots on the left and the right to further their agenda. Fifth generational warfare is here. We are in the Civil War, not fought with guns, but the quest to conquer the mind. They have dulled Americans down to be complacent and to take our freedoms for granted, as if freedom is a natural state that government must curtail. That's so far from the truth, it is unbelievable to me that anyone thinks that. Human history is bloodshed, war, and slavery of all races and from all races. If we wish to actually progress, then we must embody the values our founding fathers put forth as a promise to mankind for a better future. It's in our hands. We live in a republic if we can keep it. I'm not a Republican and I'm damn sure not a Democrat. I'm a free thinking American patriot of this country and wish to conserve the good that we still have. If you truly love your country, then you must hate the ones trying to destroy it. The communists, the pedophile parasitic elite class, the socialists, the Baphomet worshippers, and the media. We're all enemies of the people. I'll do anything in my power to stand directly against them because when I have everything I love behind me, Satan himself couldn't make me step aside. I don't care if your skin color, I care only of your character. I don't care about what party you pledge allegiance to, I care only of your actions, since they will always speak louder than words. I wish to create a tribe of patriots filled with resilient, hardworking, God fearing folk of all backgrounds, capable and competent enough to say no to tyranny of all kinds, be it social or governmental. I want to save America from the ground up, promoting the good. I do my best to embody the values I wish to see in this world. I'm a loyal married father of two young boys. I work for the betterment of this nation daily. God bless you all, and God bless America. I couldn't agree more with his sentiments. I couldn't, really. Are we having stream issues? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this stream gets demonetized and pulled off. I'm not even going to attempt to monetize it. Um, so hopefully I'm still here and you're still with me. But I'm just going back on the chat here a little bit here. Eric, all these shootings have numbed me to any clear path, no matter your side. Both need to be better, both for Americans and humans. I couldn't agree with you more. I I was a Republican for years, and it just doesn't make sense politically these days. Both parties are wrong, I, and this is where the conversation really needs to start. Right, is with what we see going on in society. Right, society isn't something that we can control. We can influence it, and we can have a positive effect on it just by being good people. But the things that we can control, like our government, are the people that we elect. And I used to rationalize elections and say, well, the elections suck because ultimately it's a choice from a shit sandwich and a shit salad. And either way, you're electing shit. I'm tired of it. We need better standards for ourselves. And we need better standards for our country. We need to start looking outside of the party lines. That's just what I say anyway. All right, let me know in the chat if we're a okay on the stream. I'd hate to be talking and you guys not be able to catch what I'm saying. And yes, Chris says the most important elections are your local ones, and that is absolutely true. And that's where, like the native patriot said, like I said in my monologue, right? It boils down to communities. Somehow we've forgotten community. And I don't know if it's the ease of access to the internet, where now the internet has become our community. The internet is too big to be our community, and so we really truly need to look more locally, do more locally to help out. Do food drives and fundraisers to help local organizations, not these big non-government organization nonprofits that collect millions and millions and millions of dollars from the federal government, but just be active in your local community and just try and just do something good in your local community. And it can be small, right? Start with like maybe one thing a month, and then go to two things a month, and then three things a month, and it'll start to build and it'll snowball, and other people will emulate what you're doing, because one person can make a difference. I questioned this the other night, and I said, how much difference am I making with my YouTube channel and what I'm doing with the Weekend Warriors? How much difference am I making? Well, I thought on it, and if I help even one person to have a more open mind and to think outside the box and to kind of maybe look at the big picture and step back from whatever their personal situations are, then that's a win. Because that one person that I affected change in, hopefully they're going to do something and that's going to affect change in someone else. And then another video is going to come out, or another stream is going to go out, and maybe I'll affect one more person, and it'll continue to grow. So don't get defeated when it doesn't look like what you're doing is actually affecting or enacting any type of change. What each one of us does matters. I'm just going to say that again. What each one of us does matters. So do something good. Oh, Jason, congrats to your daughter who's getting married tomorrow. Hey, man, outstanding. That's a good thing. I want some good things in the show tonight. Good evening, Roger. Thanks for being there. All right, glad that YouTube hasn't totally kicked me off. All right, we got a comment here from Eric. The problem in my mind is we've created this party system, which has caused a divide. The political positions need to be servants of the people, 100%. And I think, I don't know, maybe we could enact some legislative change where the instead of electing our House and Senate representatives um, via a big ballot that's PAC funded campaigns, it be you know more like a jury duty, right? Where you get picked. And well, You now get to serve 2 years in the House of Representatives. I don't know. It's just an idea, but it certainly seems that we're just perpetuating the cycle at this point. Um, we got TJ in the chat. I agree in theory about local elections, but PCSing, that's a primary changes station, every 3 years is tough. I absentee vote back to New Hampshire, but the community I actually live in, by the time I get involved, it's time to go. And TJ, I completely understand and sympathize with you. When you're serving your country and you're stationed here, there, and everywhere, it is difficult to maintain the ties to your local community back at home. Um, but that's not to say that you couldn't be actively involved in the local community on base, and enacting some positive changes there. Um, just having some maybe open forum discussions and open forum debates on things that matter to you in the military, and it might help maybe get passed up the chain at some point. I know. A lot of people don't make a career out of the military just because they get frustrated with the bureaucratic red tape and all of the bullshit politics that is involved, even with just serving your country. Um, so I'm sure that there is still things that you can do, TJ, that could be impactful in the local community where you're at, while still voting here in New Hampshire. And yeah, Chris, we absolutely need a central party. I know there was talk about creating a new third party because libertarian just isn't taking off. I don't understand why the libertarian party is just very poorly organized. They can't really decide on what their core fundamental values should be and what they're going to stick to. And so, I mean, I will say I tend to lean more towards those kind of traditional libertarian values: small government control, low taxes, or no taxes at all, because Lord knows, like at one point in time, we literally fought against the monarchy because of taxes, because we didn't want to pay taxes. And then we didn't have taxes for a while, and no, it seems like our money is taxed 100 times over. Yeah, good point here, Jason. It should be of the people, but our government is no longer that way. These career politicians never hold a real job. They have no understanding of them being fired for poor performance. And a perfect example of that would be good old Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders made a career out of, you know, promoting socialism and how everything everybody else was doing was wrong, and the millionaires were the awful people and they needed to share their wealth, until he became a millionaire with 3 mansions in Vermont, and now he hates the billionaires. uh, it's frustrating, because yes, these people, they get elected and they get reelected over and over and over again, and they never actually do anything worthwhile. Hey, Anthony, Technical Ham, good to have you in the chat. Thanks for joining us. If you want to join the stream, anybody that is in the chat that wants to join on the stream, the link to the stream is pinned in the chat. Feel free to come on in, join me on the stream, and have a little bit more open of a conversation than me in the chat going back and forth. Not that I mind, because absolutely I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. Thank you, channel members, by the way, and Patreon supporters. Appreciate all your support for me and this channel and what I'm doing here. Yeah, there you go, Jason. Okay, yeah, chosen by your social security number at random. Not a bad idea. And yeah, I think serving mandatory service in the military would definitely open some people's minds and eyes. There's been a lot of talk lately that I've seen online. People saying how much they hate this country and how awful a country that America is. And by making those statements, it's very apparent to me that they've never been outside of this country, except for maybe visiting a, all-inclusive 3-star or 5-star resort somewhere. Let me tell you, despite of all of our problems, America is the greatest country on this planet. I'm going to say that again. America, the United States of America, is the greatest country on this planet. Everyone around the world wants to come here. There's a reason for that. And if you visit, go take a trip around the world. And I'm not talking about the all-inclusive resorts. Go actually into the villages and into the communities in these third world countries, or even second world countries, or even other first world countries. Look at what's going on in the UK right now. You could end up being part of the 30,000 some odd people that were jailed for posting something that the government didn't like on social media. And yet they claim to have free speech. If you don't like this country, I invite you to go see what other countries are like. Chris, libertarians are filled with people like the boot guy. The boot guy he's referring to is Vermin Supreme. And yeah, he does literally wear a boot on his head. Vermin Supreme. Okay, yeah, TJ. All right, I like that. So he says he's backed away from the official Libertarian Party because of the issues that I just was talking about, and so he considers himself a constitutionalist. Um, and yes, we live in a constitutional republic. A lot of people don't understand, and they get confused, and they say, "Well, no, we live in a democracy." It's not a democracy. A democracy is a mob rule, and that is not what we live in. We do not live in a country that is run by mob rule. We live in a constitutional republic where the Constitution is what dictates how our government is supposed to run and how our checks and balances are supposed to perform and what the role of the government is and what the role of the people should be. Well, that's all right, Jason. Appreciate you being in the chat, even if you can't join me on screen. Eric's got a question here. He says, help me understand why people think that, as I see my Canadian brothers feeling different under the current administration. You're going to have to help me out here because I'm missing a little bit of the context there. But yeah, let's touch back on that. So I'm going to star that, and we'll come back to that. Give me a little bit more context there, Eric. Jason, I didn't see that, but a 13-year-old in the UK was arrested for buying McDonald's after 5:30 p.m. It just seems a little ridiculous. Okay. All right. So Eric clarified what he meant was my sentiment about America being the greatest country. Um, and so, oops, wrong one. There it is. Okay. So Eric wants to understand why people think that America is the greatest country because Canadians may not feel the same way. Well, if if you've been paying attention to what's going on in Canada lately, there's a thing. called Wexit, Western Exit, that is picking up more and more steam. Um, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and even the Yukon, and I believe there was another Canadian province as well that is considering participating in this Wexit move. They are very displeased with the way that the Canadian government has been run. Much in the way that we, for the most part, have been very displeased with how the American country has been run over the last 4 years. Now here we are back in some semblance of making things a little bit better and you know being more constitutional, if you will. Um, not that I think Trump is the greatest president in the world. Did I vote for him? Yes, I did. He was the best option at the time. Unfortunately, I think that what happens is we get these good people who have the best of intentions to run for a political office, and once they get elected into that office, they realize that there's a lot that they can't fix. And so, in order to enact the changes that they want to, they have to play the game. And then they get sucked into the game and they become part of the problem. And I was on the Native Patriot podcast there the other night in the chat, just kind of chiming in with those similar sentiments. Um, it's something that I don't know exactly how we can fix it. I don't know how to make it better, but I think if we generate enough drive, then we can get people elected to office that will truly represent the people's best interests and not the lobby best interests and not the PAC best interests and not the DOD contracts best interests. We need to break the bureaucracy, and I don't know how we do that, but I don't see it as being something that can't be done. Um, but yeah, I'll just to reiterate my point there, Eric. Anybody that doesn't think that America is the greatest country in the world just needs to travel. Just needs to travel. Go to go to France. Go to Spain. Go to England. Go to the Dominican. Go to Haiti. Go to the DRC if you dare. Um, Go anywhere in the Middle East, and you will want to come home almost immediately. So Shannon says that, as you guys know, I'm very close to many people in the UK. They complain about the same kind of things we complain about. Every country has its own issues, really. Some are worse than others. And I 100% agree with you. Um, we haven't, in our country, gotten as bad as some of the other first world countries. Um, but there's no arguing that when the government is jailing people for social media posts, you're not a country with free speech. You're not. As much as you might like to say that you are no longer a country of free speech. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, yeah, yep. They've all had it with Ottawa. I don't think that they want necessarily to become American. Everything that I've read and seen so far is that the Canadian provinces that not only have talked about but have also voted on breaking away from Ottawa. They want to be independent. They want to be their own nation, and I support them. I 100% support them. Yes, Jason. Yes, bureaucrats have too much power, and the departments have rules that are treated as laws, but it's not a law, and it never was voted by Congress. and they need to have term limits. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. Dave in the chat here. In my lifetime, gold has gone from $35 an ounce to roughly 3,700. There were restrictions back then on private ownership. Gold is a bit of a yardstick as far as measuring value, but it does keep changing and it keeps growing. Chris Bricker here, comment here, or jailing people who go on tour of the Capitol building. I can only assume that you were referring to January 6th, which for those that haven't seen anything other than the mainstream media propaganda on January 6th, at no point during the January 6th quote unquote riot um, was there a violent mob, you know, breaking things and lighting the building on fire or any of the other nonsense that we've seen from the other side of the political spectrum. And again, that's not to say that either side is right. Both sides are very, very wrong in so many ways. But the bulk of us, right? The bulk of us that are just normal common sense Americans that believe in some type of faith and country and family and community, we're the ones that make up the majority, and we need to start becoming louder because the minority groups on the far outer wings, they're very freaking loud, and that we're allowing those small loud voices to dictate how this country is going, and it's about time that we stop doing that. All right, here, let me share something with you. um, there's a YouTube channel that I follow. Guys, it goes by Conservative Vibes, and while he's very much a Republican, I'm not advocating for his political views. He did a video about the social media response to the murder of Charlie Kirk, and it's absolutely awful. And I want to share some of these videos with you, and let's kind of just discuss these things, um, because I don't understand. I don't understand the mindset that these people have. Um, and once again, I'm all for exercising your First Amendment rights, and, unless you are calling for active violence against another person. That is not something that is covered under the First Amendment, and the Supreme Court has adjudicated that time and time again. Um, Advocating for violence against people is not part of free speech. So let me share some of his video. His video is an hour long. We're just gonna go over just a little bit of it here. Um, so bear with me while we watch a little bit of this. So above me, this is CV, and we're gonna start this video with a TikTok video.
Those two little girls, by the way, they're way better off without that man. They didn't need that man's influence, and he was doing nothing to protect them. Him. And, hey, at least now his wife has at least a shot in hell of being sexually satisfied.
Never in my life have I wanted to hit a woman.
At some point in her life. So she's got that to look forward to, you know.
It's tragic. His wife and children were there at the event with him. While conservatives are mourning the death of Charlie Kirk, sick and twisted liberals are celebrating.
Breaking news, Charlie Kirk was in the neck. And again, if you're one of those, no matter what happens, you should never wish death on someone. I'm going to cheer and dance and sing.
And that's the embodiment of just straight evil. Someone just lost their son, lost their husband, lost their dad. You're here talking about, oh, I'm jumping for joy. You're evil. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And killing somebody just for talking is wrong.
The left will say, oh, but you cheer.
So, all right, I'm just going to pause it there. Chris, thanks for joining me. Welcome to the stream.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep. All right, so Chris,
I'm fucking angry. We're past the cussing point, right?
Oh, trust me. Listen, you've been on Weekend Warriors. You know how it goes. Yeah, there's no holding back. Let it out, man.
Fucking angry right now, like seeing red angry. The fact that somebody would kill this man because he wanted to talk about freedom of speech and how to have a discussion with other people makes my fucking blood boil. You and I did not serve this fucking country for this kind of bullshit. It's absolutely horrendous. It makes me pissed. Like, I've been pissed off for 3 days now. You know, coupled with yesterday being 9/11, it just makes it worse.
Yep. But this is where
pieces of shit sit there and act like it's no big deal and laugh and cheer it on. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not a violent person usually, right? But this is where, like, the tendencies from us being who we are and how we were made, you know, and how we ended up having to defend our country. This is where we come in and go, you know what? I'm not a violent person, but if it's going to come at me, I'm coming right back.
All right, and so this is exactly why I wanted to have this conversation. All right, because the other night I was having those same inner dialogue, right, where I have served this country, and those of us that have done our duty, we know how to freaking kill people. We know how to go and fight, and we know combat tactics, and should there ever be a civil war, like we are the ones that we're going to come out on top, most likely. But how do we stop it from getting to that point? How do we change the direction that we're headed so that it doesn't continue to go downhill where we do have to resort to violence?
You know, I thought that was the way. A man like Charlie Kirk comes once in a lifetime. You know, he has no agenda other than to talk to people and educate the masses on how to talk to each other. He's a once in a lifetime kind of person. And somebody felt the need to take him, you know, on a day when he was sitting there having a perfectly normal conversation with a group of students and take his life because they didn't agree with what he was saying.
The special thing, the special thing about Charlie, right, is Charlie was clearly raised right, because as a very, very young man, right, I believe it was, I think he was 17 when he started Turning Point, and all he wanted to do was just engage in open dialogue, just have an open discussion about the controversial issues, and take you know, all the media angles aside, but just look at the actual facts and have a discussion. And I see the powers that be driving that division wedge further and further and further in to where violence is going to become the only option. But there has to be another way. There has to be a way that we can prevent that from happening.
The only way to do that is to keep doing what he was doing, right? Follow his model. If you think about it, the only way to change somebody's mind, right, on something is to have the discussion with them, set your side, listen to their side, and have a dialogue. If you can't have a dialogue with somebody, right, then there's no point in having the conversation at that point. It's just basically either talking to or talking down to somebody. It's not talking with somebody. And that's what he was great at. He was great at talking with people. He would give you his opinion. He would listen to yours, tell you where he thought you were wrong, agree with you where he thought you were right, and have that two-way conversation. Granted, not everybody liked him, not everybody agreed with him, and I mean, some people on both sides didn't agree with him. You know, but at the end of the day, if you can't have that discussion and have that two-way conversation with somebody, what's left? You have basically a brick wall between two sides, and the only way to break down the brick wall is to destroy it. And how do you destroy it?
And I really hope we don't get to that point.
I'll be honest with you, man. I hope so too. Like I said, I've never been a violent guy in my life. You know, I've always tried to talk to people and, you know, calm things down. You know, but you know how we're built. You know, we're only going to take so much.
Yeah, and military folks tend to be pretty reactionary, right? Like we assess the situation very quickly and we react to it. One of the things that I've learned, you know, in the 20 plus years since I've got out is to try not to be as reactionary, because it's not always the best course of action.
Yeah, you know what it is? It keeps us on edge constantly, and we can't be there. You know, because we're doing that proverbial burning the candle at both ends. We're trying to keep everything focused on our personal life, but at the same time, always being at the ready for anything, all the time, every day, every hour, every minute. You burn yourself out. You know, so like when I'm home, I'm ready for certain things. When I'm at work, I'm ready for other things. When I'm out in public, I'm ready for different things. But I'm not always, you know, 24/7 like we used to do, you know, when we were still in, you know, always looking over your shoulder, you know, always looking around, assessing everything under the sun. You know, as you age and you grow and you mature, you learn how to do those things like this piece here, that piece there, that piece there. The problem is now is with this kind of thing happening, it's going to start driving all of us, you know, you, me, everybody, right? We're going to start. Nice, Chris. It's only because you lit it up. You know, it's going to start driving us to go back to that where we used to be, right? Constantly assessing everything around us and always being on edge. If you're always like that, how do you have the conversation? Because now you're always going to be thinking that person in front of you when you're having that conversation is ready to attack you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, doesn't matter. You're always thinking they're ready to attack you. They're not ready to have a conversation. They're ready to attack you. And unfortunately, these events drive that thought process, right? So now when I talk to people, you know, after this, I'm a little more careful now after these last couple of days. I hold a few more things back because I don't know how they're going to react. You know, and I work with the public every day. You know, I see people of all walks of life every day where I work. I don't know how some of these people are going to react. You know, I don't know what's going to happen.
Then all right. So do people like us, right? And the people in the chat, do we now have to be reserved and withhold our freedom of speech out of fear because these wackadoos are gonna lash out with violence?
No, I don't think we need to be reserved in that aspect. I think we need to be more calculated in how we have the discussion. Right. Charlie was very calculated when if you looked at the way Charlie did his discussions, he was very calculated in the way he had his discussions. Right. He talked to people in a way that he understood how they were going to react, and his speech, his mannerisms were appropriate for every single interaction. He never talked to the same person the same way twice. Right? Because if you look at some of his speeches where the same people show up every time, and you look at the different ways he engaged that same person each time, exactly, Dave. Speak your mind and be on the ready. But if you look at the way Charlie did it, that's the way everybody needs to do it. Engage the person, but engage based on how you're engaging them at that point. Doesn't mean you always have to, think everybody's going to attack you. Unfortunately, after the last couple of days, that's a hard mindset to get out of. But you have to be able to engage people based on how they're reacting to you at the moment. If somebody's nice and friendly, you be friendly. If somebody's aggressive to you, then you need to understand how to switch your mindset from, hey, I'm trying to have a dialogue with this person on a friendly level, to, hey, I'm having a dialogue, but I need to be ready for, an attack, a retreat, a sidestep, whatever I need to do if this person's getting more aggressive. Things that happen to Charlie, though, you can't plan for, unfortunately.
Yeah. I was gonna type in the chat there, but I'll just say it. Anthony, Technical Ham, he says he's not trying to be politically correct. Grow a pair and suck it up, Buttercup. It's just words. Well, feel free to jump on the stream, get in here, and speak your mind, brother.
Anthony, get in here. What's he putting out? If I can make it in here tonight, you can make it in here tonight. Because I'm the one with the worst schedule of everybody.
All right. So there's another video that I wanted to show, and we can go back to these wackadoos on the left. But so a gentleman named Chase Hughes. He's a body speech expert, analyst, whatever you would call it, right? Where he looks at people's body language more than what they're actually saying, and he analyzes based on their body language. And so he put out a video about Charlie Kirk and how his death has exposed the biggest scam in history. And so I wanted to kind of watch that together and discuss it a little bit here. Here, let me highlight myself, or just make myself bigger somehow here. There we go. All right.
Charlie Kirk is dead, and it exposed something vile and horrifying that I want to share with you right now, just kind of candidly. He was murdered while he's speaking in public to a group of college kids. And there's one part of this that I think should horrify you to the deepest parts of your very soul. Instead of a universal outrage, instead of every decent person saying this is insane and this is wrong, the internet seemingly lit up with these celebrations and cheers and memes and people actually laughing and celebrating the murder of a man because he wore a different political jersey. So let that sink in for a second. And I don't think any of this is about Charlie Kirk, the person. And I don't think it's about whether you liked him or hated him or didn't even care. I think it's about the fact that political murder is somehow just another headline nowadays. And we scroll right past it. There is a whole new low for where we could go. And you have people online cheering like it's their team winning a Super Bowl. And what you're seeing is an evil mask slipping. This is a signal. And it's a signal that we, and I do mean we all, crossed into something that is a lot darker than just politics. This right here, what we're seeing, is what happens when violence becomes part of a political conversation. When actual TV networks air over and over clips that encourage people to see the other side not as neighbors that we might disagree with, but as enemies that need to be destroyed, as the threat to society. And you've seen it, I have no doubt. We all have seen this. People in the media saying these people are a threat, these people are dangerous, maybe some violence is justified, and it's not fringe anymore. This is mainstream. And there are thousands of these clips out there aired to millions of people, kind of nudging, suggesting, maybe planting seeds that maybe a fist, maybe a bullet is a legitimate form of political debate.
You resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck.
Biggest terror threat in this country.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time An actor assassinated a president.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
A lot of people don't have the attention span to maybe stick with this, but I pray that you do, because I'm going to expose something here that's going to change everything for you if you stick around. But here's the irony, and what I think is a absolute concrete law of history. It's concrete law. The minute that your ideas require violence to enforce or spread, they are already completely bankrupt. Every tyrant, every failed ideology, every social collapse starts the exact same way. The debate dies, then violence takes the place of debate. And you can't argue with a gun. You can only kill with it. And when killing is the substitute for a conversation, society as a whole starts falling off a cliff. And we all, myself included, we all have been sold the biggest con of our entire life. And this is that the problem is left versus right, or Republicans versus Democrats. And that is the distraction fireworks show that they want us screaming about while they're doing something else. And this is a magician's trick. And I'm about to really show you what Charlie, God rest his soul, has kind of exposed here. If you turned on cable news today, you go in your living room, turn it on, maybe you scroll social media, what are you going to see? The absolute fringe. They're going to show you the loudest, dumbest, most cartoonish people from the other side blasted in your face 24/7. You're not being shown your neighbor or your coworker or the mom next door who votes differently. You're being shown a bunch of professional lunatics that are handpicked to make you think one thing. And the one big thing that they want you to think is, oh my God, these people are insane. They are the enemy. That's the reason that we're going downhill. And none of this is an accident. This is word for word textbook psychological operations. And military psyops manuals literally describe how you isolate a target audience, then you pump them full of a bunch of outrage, you create a tribal us versus them identity. This is straight out of a psyops textbook. So why would we want to do this? Or why would psyops want to do this? Because once you're locked into tribal thinking, you're going to swallow anything. You're going to believe any lie about the other side. You're going to cheer when other people suffer. You'll excuse things that you would never excuse in your own neighborhood if you watched it right in front of you and it was one of your neighbors. This is exactly the playbook on how you get otherwise decent, kind people laughing at a murder on the internet. That is how you radicalize a country without firing a shot. And let me tell you something that you're not supposed to think about right now. You share more in common. You share more with somebody across the aisle than with a billionaire donor or some media executive pretending to speak for you. I don't think they want you to see that. They need you divided. They have to have you blind and full of rage, because a united, sane, connected public is the one thing that they actually fear. So how does a normal person, just a regular person, a guy who loves his kids, pays his bills, maybe argues politics at Thanksgiving, how does he turn into somebody who cheers at the assassination of a political opponent on the internet? This does not happen overnight. It is a formula, and I'm going to lay it out for you very plain right here. Number one is isolation. And this is where you don't just disagree with people anymore. You're told not even to interact with them. You don't have friends on the other side. Don't date them. Don't work with those people. You need to cut them out of your life. That is step one. And if you're paying attention, that's also step one of joining a cult. So step two is echo chambers. You surround yourself only with opinions that sound just like yours. Social media makes damn sure of this. And algorithms serve you more of what already pisses you off. And this has been proven and documented in research. So that rage gets recycled and concentrated like moonshine, like a moonshine still. And if you haven't caught on yet, this is step two of building a cult, a dangerous cult. So step three here is the tribal script. This is the us versus them narrative. Your side is righteous, their side is evil. Every single issue is framed like a holy war, and it doesn't matter if it's taxes or healthcare. It's suddenly life or death, and it's good versus evil. And if you add outrage and righteous superiority, and our brain chemistry starts going bonkers, crazy, that cocktail makes people feel morally justified in hating and silencing and celebrating violence. That is true radicalization. That's how you turn regular people into basically a sleeper agent without them even knowing. The bad news is that what I just said is only the beginning, and it's happening on both sides of the imaginary aisle. Here's the truly horrifying part. All of this, it's not just a result of some advertising and algorithms. This is deliberate, and I would stake my reputation on it. This is not just some accidental byproduct of politics. This, what we're seeing right here, is engineered step by step to keep you outraged and blind and keep you just kind of stabbing and punching at shadows. All the while, this real power, the people who profit from division, stay completely untouchable. So keep this in mind while we're talking. You have more in common with someone who voted different than you did than the people that you see parading their narratives on TV. Please keep that in mind forever if you're able to. And absolutely.
All right. So what do you think about that?
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, right?
That's the strangest part about that. He's not wrong, right? If you look at corporate media, if you look at corporations, if you look at government institutions, which I used to work for one, and you and I both used to work for a different one, right? They all want to maintain that semblance of power at the top. And it doesn't matter how they have to do it. If they have to divide you into, red shirt versus blue shirt, or, shirts versus skins, or, from the dawn of time, they will do that. As long as the money keeps coming in, they'll keep making the process for it to happen. The problem is now there are people getting killed because of it, right?
And it's innocent people that are getting killed. That's what drives me nuts the most. It is just young, innocent people that are being killed.
But hey, look at me, I'm in charge. Like look at that girl that got killed on the train. That was horrendous, dude. You and I have seen people die, right? You and I have seen people die, but that's been in like combat and other stuff like that, and other things. My time as a firefighter and EMT, I've seen people die. Never have I seen that kind of like violence, right, happen out of the blue. And watched it happen.
Dave, the link to join the stream is pinned at the top of the chat. Yeah, please, anybody in the chat that wants to come on, please click the link. Come on in, join the conversation, because I truly believe that yes, what is going on right now is it's a plot to keep us divided so that we don't come to find that middle ground, right? Because if we don't come together and find whatever power it be is the one that is dictating what we're going to do, and we're going to end up resorting to violence on both sides, and we need to stop what is happening before it gets to that point.
Well, if you look at that, right, we know violence can happen on both sides. It has happened on both sides. Let's be real about the conversation, right? Both sides have done it. However, I'm gonna give you my take on it. There's a right side and a left side, right? In politics, there's right and left. You're right, Paul. They are given the largest megaphones. That's the problem. But if you look at it, the group of people, we're not going to go right and left. We're just going to say the group of people who condemn violence the most, guns or free violence or whatever else, right, is the same group that applauds when it happens. Okay. The ones who condemn it the most are the same ones who applaud when it happens. You can't condemn it and applaud it at the same time. Okay?
Yeah.
The other group of people condemns violence, doesn't applaud it when it happens, but I will tell you this, that group of people is ready to get violent if they have to. And unfortunately, it looks like it might turn out that way. We're heading down that path. You know, it's like the train track with two trains traveling in opposite directions. There's a switch in the middle to stop them from hitting, but somebody keeps sabotaging that switch.
Yeah.
Trains are going to collide.
And huge thank you to Tortoise Overland for the $50 super chat there. Thank you. Play the music for you.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
All right. Welcome, Dave.
Hey. Oh, Jesus.
Thanks for joining the stream.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the hard conversation that we need to have.
Yeah, no shit. You know, that video resonated a lot. It's what I've been seeing recently. Just hell, dude, I had to block my cousin on Facebook because she was one of those people that started posting, you know, just excited about the fact that he got shot. And I knew she was super liberal, and I usually watch what she does on Facebook just to kind of see the other side. But it's gotten to the point now where nobody wants to listen to anybody else, right? No matter what you try and tell her, Red Band's evil, right? And the Republican Party is evil. And no matter what, everything, even if it's something good, it's evil, and they're automatically against it. And the media has definitely pushed a us versus them narrative, and it's getting scary. To the point where, I don't know, shit, it's been a couple of years since I regularly carried a gun. And I strapped it on this morning. And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And it's just because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen when I go down the street.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I'm with you, because I was at the point where I was feeling comfortable enough to not have it on me 24/7.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, I need it, because what if?
Yeah, the what ifs. I mean, with just this week, you had Charlie get shot. You had the chick on the train get stabbed. You had another kid show up at a school and shoot a couple of people and then themselves. And it's just, all of it is politically motivated in one way or another. And I love Fox News because it shows my kind of side of the story. But Fox News is doing it. CNN is doing it. They're all creating an us versus them mentality. And anybody who pays attention to it automatically gets that ingrained in their head. And that's kind of why I'm about to do like my son did. My son, smartest kid I've ever met. He, 2 months ago, completely deleted everything social media. He's like, dude, I need to sanitize my brain from all the rot that's out there. And I started thinking about it yesterday. Like, man, maybe I need to just take a break from everything, because go back to reading a book and, you know, playing on the Xbox and not looking at everything that's fucked up around the world. But if we just ignore it, it's not going to get any better.
Exactly.
Remember the days?
I remember. Sorry, you can't be an ostrich. But yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I remember the days, Dave, like you're talking about, when you would go and you read the news, even when, you know, online news was coming out and everything, you would read the news and you would have, a bunch of this, right? This happened bad, but then you'd also have all crews like, hey, look at this, what happened? This is a great idea, you know. This person created something. This was, this is a new idea. These people saved these people, these people built these big flower gardens and blah, blah. You had both good and bad in the news at the time. Now, when you look at the news, it's all bad. There is no good news anymore.
No.
It's all bad, all evil, everybody hates everybody. Everything's wrong. You know, the powers that be are wrong. The people are wrong. You know, the world's wrong. Governments are wrong. Citizens are wrong. You know, hell, they even got people talking bad about animals and stuff like, oh, these dogs are bad. These cats are bad. These horses are bad. It's all bad news now.
Yeah.
That wears on the mentality of an individual over time to the point where all they see is bad. So if everything's bad, that's how their mindset, you know, gets trained, right? It's a trained thing in your mind. Everything's bad, so I must need to act appropriately because everything's bad.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. It was luck of the draw, but
Yeah.
Right, Dave. Just get rid of all social media, man. Like honestly, I used to be pretty active in it years ago. Before the 2016 election, like I'd be on Facebook all the time, doing stuff, looking things, posting, talking to people. When the 2016 elections came around, I saw people, including my own family members, for who they were. Right? The toxicity of people came out when you said, "Hey, I like this person because X, Y, and Z." Oh my God, you're a racist. You're this. All I said was I liked some of his policies. How'd that turn into me being the most evil person in the world? So I stopped using it. I haven't used that stuff in years. You know,
But
I have an account on everything just to like why I got. You know, I saw hunting and fishing and obviously ham radio stuff, but that's it. I don't post. I don't engage. I don't do anything except for Discord, of course.
Yeah, but
Discord's not quite social media.
No, it's social for groups like our group. Like
you can't. I've started to realize you can't fault them. They're being programmed to hate us. We're being programmed to hate them. And what Charlie was doing was amazing because he would stand in front of them and explain his side of the world and have a logical debate with them. And that's what we all need to do, is not necessarily just, if we keep shunning each other and getting into the mentality of us versus them, it's just going to get worse. But actually having, instead of ignoring them or shunning them, trying to talk to them and trying to explain, hey, look, everybody's bad. Our entire political system is shit. But let's look at who's going to benefit who better. How is your life going to get better? My son realizes, and my son was kind of a Fruit Loop, Democrat kind of kid, thanks to the programming he got in high school. Once he started going and actually earning money, he was like, hey, this Republican thing's not a bad idea, right? And him learning that he's now got a girlfriend he's living with, and he's now the man in the situation, right? And understanding now in his head why I was the asshole sometimes with things. He's like, hey, I get it now. And so there's hope with that generation.
Yeah, you're not just being an asshole for no reason.
No. But there is hope with that generation. With my kids, even my fun-loving, pot-smoking daughter that's she's my little flower child, right? It's like her mind is open. It's not steered in one direction or the other, and she's open to everything. So the generation coming up has got some hope as long as they don't get rotted by social media and the us versus them mentality. But I don't know what to do to fix the stuff now, because it's gotten to the point where, Charlie, anybody who's willing to have a strong debate about how I feel versus how you feel, and let's come to an understanding, you get shot. And that's where we're at right now. And I don't know how to fix that without fighting back. And that's not the right idea.
Well, I think it's got the conversation has to be more than this is how I feel and this is how you feel. I think the conversation needs to be, let's analyze the facts and what is real, and let's look at it objectively.
That's the problem, though, Paul. Right?
I understand.
The one
That's
side,
not an easy thing to do.
on feelings, right? How do I feel at the moment? What do I think the world is, and how do I feel the world is? They don't look at the facts. They go, the sky is blue. Well, I feel the sky is like green today. Well, the sky is blue. I mean,
And
right?
You kind of hit that.
You look up.
You kind of hit that nail on the head with. It was about 10 years ago when my kids went from I think to I feel. And I never did like when somebody says I feel that it should do this, right? Because feelings just muddle everything up. Logic, right? We all.
It's not using your brain or logic. It's an emotion.
Yeah, it's an emotion. And so I give a shit less about your feelings, but what's the reality of it, And that it was about 10 years ago when I really started hearing more and more people say I feel instead of I think. And it's just gone downhill, but I don't know how do we fix it? I don't know if it's not going to be a quick fix, but literally, unless you do like my son and just kill all social media, but you have to get the news from somewhere. You have to know what's going on in the world. And none of the media is unbiased, no matter how bad they say they are unbiased. Fox News is biased. CNN, biased. MSNBC, biased. CBS, biased. They're all biased one way or another. And unless it gets back to CNN when I was in, hell, that's how we found out where we were getting deployed to. CNN would know about it before we did.
I watched headline news every morning to figure out what was going on before I went to the boat, or when we got back, or we pulled in the port. Hey, we're CNN. Let's figure out what's going on in the world. Now I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them.
No, but back then in the 90s, CNN was unbiased and just news. And we got to get back to that. Like I put in the post, we got to get back to like the 80s, where if you think about when I was a kid in the 80s, I didn't think about racism. I was a military brat, right? So there was no such thing as color. There was no such thing as
race didn't matter.
Race didn't matter. It was we made fun of each other, right? And sometimes it was a little racial, depending. But it was in a fun way where we all, just like being in the military, where it doesn't matter what color you are, but I'm going to fuck with you about it. How do we get back to that? Where movies, look at the movies that came out in the 80s, some of the greats that nobody could even think about bringing out something like that now. It's critical thinking and morals is really what's going to fix this.
The problem with critical thinking is they took that away. If you're no longer allowed to think for yourself, you have to think what everybody else wants you to think. Right? And if you don't think like them, well, then you're part of the problem instead of maybe part of the solution. Right? That's how this country became so great. Critical thinkers said, "Hey, I have a problem. Let's think of a different way to do something." And everybody said, "Oh yeah, let me listen to your opinion. And if we agree, great. If not, we'll figure out where the right answer is." Now it's, "Hey, I want to think about this, right? I think this is the right answer to assess this situation and deal with this problem or this issue." If you're not of that mindset, they go, "No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You're part of the problem now. You're the reason it is that way," right? So they'll take a problem that has nothing to do with you and then blame you for the problem when you're trying to fix the problem with them because you don't agree with how they want to do it. Until we can get back to that point where, like you said, critical thinking, right? Hey, I have this problem. In this case, is how do we talk to each other
He's right. And
Yeah,
there's
Cody's
that
got a good point here.
there's that old saying, and I can never get it right. I know it in my head, but trying to say it. But my grandfather was a strong man, so he built wealth. You know which one I'm talking about, right? A strong man builds an
That-
easy life. An easy life builds a weak man. A weak
so
man.
that the phrase is tough times build strong men,
Yeah,
and easy times build weak men.
yeah. And we're at the easy times, or we're transitioning from the easy times to the tough times. We unfortunately,
If we go back to the tough times from when we grew up, the current generation who have grown up in the easy times wouldn't last
no.
because they weren't conditioned to make it like we were. You know, we grew up in a time where you had to fend for yourself, deal with things yourself, assess things yourself. You know, you fought with your hands instead of with pistols and knives and guns and everything else, right? And at the end of the day, you fought your buddy. You know, I have had fist fights with people, and at the end of the fist fight, we looked at each other, said, "Okay, you won, I lost," shook your hand,
Yeah.
and then you walked
And
away.
you end up being better friends for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had some fist fights with people that I've been best friends with for years. You know, not everyone ends up like that, but you know what? A lot of them do. Today, there's no such thing as, you know, being friends with your enemy, you know, or trying to become friends with your enemy so you can stop being enemies. It's you're my enemy. That's the end of it. That's where we stop. Right? And until we can get past that point, which again, Charlie Kirk, I keep going back to him because let me tell you, I've never seen a man do what he did in my lifetime. Right? He was the ultimate, I want to say negotiator, but it's probably not the right word. He was the ultimate negotiator when it came to dialogue. He knew how to talk.
Open debater.
Yep.
Open debater, there you go. He was the ultimate open debater to where he could talk to a person, have a conversation with that individual, and walk away not angry or mad at it. He may have learned something new. He may have taught something new, right? But at the end of the conversation, I would say 90% of the time, because there's that 10% who were just assholes to him. 90% of the time, the conversations ended amicably, and they went their separate ways. Whatever each party took from that is what they took from it, but it was never a violent conversation or anything hateful or mean-spirited or whatever, right? At 90% of the time. If we can all do that, we're on a quick downward spiral. And like you said at the beginning, Paul, the Civil War may be coming, man. And unfortunately, it may be coming soon after this last couple of days.
Unfortunately, I think it's already upon us. And the question that I had, and the question that I wanted to raise, tonight to discuss, is how do we stop this, right? Because so there's a couple other things that I wanted to share here. So like here, so if we look at this, okay, this is a very common post on social media right now, right? Kill Donald Trump, kill his VP Vance, kill his cabinet picks. That is the only way to save the United States of America. That is the only way to save this nation. I lose if I stand by quietly. There is no victory condition for me if I stay quiet. I support the assassination of Trump. We have a loud minority of people voicing opinions like this. And this is where I'm saying, like, this is beyond your First Amendment, right? The First Amendment does not cover speech like this. And this just it thoroughly fucking pisses me off. Like, I don't understand how someone can think, well, we should just assassinate the president and all of his cabinet and the vice president because they think differently than I do. Well, if you wait fucking 3 more years, we're gonna have another election, and there could be a fucking Democrat president in the White House, and we'll be back to the fucking Biden days. Like, killing the fucking president, it's not the solution.
Here. I'm going to say something unpopular. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, Paul.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you that as much as I think that quote you put up there is beyond reprehensible and disgusting, freedom of speech, right? She has the right to say what she wants to say. However, that being said, there are consequences for the things you say, right? I can run into a building and yell fire, 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 but at the end of the day, I'm probably going to get arrested for yelling fire when there was no fire and causing a panic, right? My First Amendment right gives me the right to say it. That doesn't mean there's not consequences for it. So she may have the right to be that disgusting of a person and say that kind of things on social media, but there should also be consequences for it. She should probably be investigated. She should probably have, somebody knock on her door and say, hey, we saw you think you should be killing the president. Let's have a conversation about that. Maybe we need to have a conversation downtown,
Yeah. No, Rabbit's got it, right? So freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences. And
say whatever you want. The Second Amendment protects my First Amendment right. However, there are consequences.
One of the recent viral videos that really it kind of stuck with me, and it drives me nuts, right? But it was a very attractive woman, and she recorded herself, and she said, "You know what? You see MAGA, pew pew MAGA." Now I'm not MAGA by any stretch of the word, right? I believe that yes, 100% we have gotten away from our American fundamental values, and we need to get back to that. And make America great again in that regard. But to openly advocate to killing your political opponents, it's not okay. Like, it's just not okay.
No, it's not.
For your actions,
Well, that's the thing is there aren't any consequences for actions anymore.
Problem.
There isn't?
Consequences.
Well, kids in school.
Sorry. Oh no, I've already been dealing with that this week. So yeah, there are consequences for that stuff, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there is consequences. Now, bullying and stuff like that is not being taken lightly or very well taken care of in the school. Bullying is just happening, which, it's going to happen. We understand that there's going to be a little bullying, but when my kid's getting thrown, pencils and papers and everything else at the back of his head while he's trying to pay attention in school, there is nothing being done about it by the teachers. Now that's bullshit. It's just like the bullshit that's happening in our nation. It's nobody's stopping the bullshit. And that's what needs to happen. And there's a lot of us that can't.
Are we taking a break again?
This live stream was brought to you by.
What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Well, hey, me and Cody are here now, so it's time to really start talking shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
For you to get in here.
I was trying.
Cody, where are you this week?
I told my wife, and she's like, "All right, but hold on, I need you to do this and that first." So.
I apologize. I figured while the conversation was lively, I would take a moment and relieve myself, because I have to do it every 15 freaking minutes, so it makes it tough to do live streams. But
yeah, it threw up the whole intermission thing, and I'm like,
on that.
Hey, that's what happens when you play over in the sandbox for too long.
And you came back and we lost Cody. Where'd he go?
Yeah, TJ's got it. This live stream is brought to you by your fucked up knees, which are not service related.
the AI meme the other day about that exact thing. It was like all these medical problems, and the doctor saying, "Yeah, that's no problem." You know, guy jumped out of a plane, right? You know, doing like airborne, landed, breaks his freaking leg, is in the hospital. The guy goes, "Oh yeah, 2 broken legs, not service related."
Let me tell you, because that happened to me. My disability, they gave me I broke my ankle, surgery, I got metal hardware in my ankle for life now. I will never be back to 100%. I'm never going to really run good ever again. 10%.
Are you
But
serious?
could you run good to begin with?
No. After having kids, and then I got that dad bod, and I was just like, no. I can get by. I can pass.
All right. Hey, Cody,
That's all that
Anthony,
matters.
Chris, thank you guys for joining the conversation.
Oh yeah, dude, no problem.
But I meant the other Chris. You're obviously having a relief break.
I'm getting a break, man. And then the other half is coming over, so I'm just waiting for her to knock on the door.
Oh, jeez. I just put kids to bed so I can have a little bit more lively conversation other than on the chat.
Same.
All right. So a new user says it's not a right if you suffer consequences from it. You can practice your first Second Amendment right. It's your actions that should suffer consequence.
That wording threw me off.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the counter to your argument there, new user, is that the Supreme Court has adjudicated numerous times that when your speech advocates for violence against a person or a group of persons, it is no longer covered under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like, now, what is commonly referred to these days as hate speech, which is anything that somebody doesn't agree with, now that is 100% covered under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
A Nazi, an actual fucking Nazi, like not what the left calls all of us, common sense fucking thinking people, but an actual Nazi that wants to eradicate the Jews still, and create the perfect race, still has the right, the constitutional right, to stand up in a public square and voice their opinion, as long as they are not advocating for violence against a specific group of people. They can say, we want to breed, blonde hair and blue eyes because that is the perfect fucking whatever. You know what I mean? And that's no different than any other type of speech that would be, looked down upon by the majority of the masses, right? Just because the majority of people don't agree with what you're saying, if you're not advocating for violence against a person or persons, you're allowed to publicly protest. Say what you want to say. Like, you want to set up at a college campus, and you want to talk about progressive ideals and how boys can be girls and they can compete in girls' sports. You have the fucking right to do that. I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to express my disagreement with your opinion. But, like, that is free speech. You are allowed to speak that way.
Paul, you're not going to hop up on the top of a fucking building and shoot somebody because you don't agree with their speech.
Exactly.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because I'm just going to agree to disagree and accept that there's an impasse, and we're not able to come to any type of understanding.
The only I think the only thing that's like in the law of like what you can't do is like if you are basically bashing on like groups of people or like individuals, like especially when it comes to like political parties.
No, that's not true at all. I could absolutely say openly the left is a bunch of whiny fucking victimhood people, right? And I can say, well, the right is a bunch of self fucking righteous do-gooders that are virtue signaling at every step of the way. And I can also say that, well, we should round up all the Jews and we should put them in concentration camps because they're bad people and I don't like what they're doing. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, right? I mean, you can say those things and people can disagree with them. It's when you cross the line and you say, you know what, the solution to this problem is somebody should kill the president. And I argued this point with my father-in-law many times through Obama's tenure and through Biden's tenure, because the man is a diehard fucking Republican. And he kept making the joke, right? And I'll call it a joke because I think that's how he intended it. Well, somebody should just kill Obama. Somebody should just kill Biden. Just fucking get it over with. No, that's not okay. You can't say that. You can say, I disagree with all of his policies. I disagree with what he's doing. I disagree with the direction that he is leading our country. And that is perfectly fine. You can protest the direction that we're going. But when you actively call for violence and death on your opponent, that's when you cross that line.
That's where the consequences come into play. Like I said earlier, right? You can say anything you want, but there's going to be consequences for things you say and do. You know, I can sit here and say, you know what, I think X, Y, and Z should be killed. I can say it. I have the right to say anything I damn well please. However, if I say that,
well, you better be ready for somebody to come knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Exactly. I better be ready for the knock on the door, not the other half, somebody different.
I've actually seen some videos of that specific encounter. Like they posted a video of like they're holding the phone recording and they open up the door and there's like a couple cops at the door because they heard like on a phone call or whatever, like they were listening in and he said something about president being dead or something like that. So then he had cops and shit coming at his door about those phone calls.
Say, right, have consequences. Sometimes. Problem is, it doesn't always. Like, so the left, and we're going to go left and right at this point, right? The left does and says a lot of things that have no consequences because nobody takes consequential actions against it, right? I'm happy to see over the last couple of days that all these pieces of shit who have been cheering on Charlie Kirk's fucking murder getting fired. I am beyond happy to see that these people are actually stepping up and saying, you know what, that's not the kind of people we want in our organization. Have a nice fucking day, you're gone.
That is a positive consequence to what they have said. Yeah. And that is the employer's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a video of somebody was screaming and yelling like they were recording themselves, like blah blah blah. They get a phone call. Oh my God! I just got fired for saying Charlie Kirk should have been killed. Oh. Yeah, because your company found out that you said that on social media. You're a representative of that fucking company, right? And they said, well, you're not the kind of person we want. There's your consequences. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but at the end of the day, you have consequences for your actions and your speech.
You know, I'm a union steward, okay? I work in a union shop, and they want me to lean more to the left. But because I'm a free thinker, I lean more. Well, yeah, but I walk down the middle. Yes, both sides have good points. And the biggest problem that I have is I had an individual who did the same thing at my company. Now, because I'm a union steward, I had to abruptly stop my work and go deal with this individual with the management. Luckily, someone that is above me in the union walked in and basically took over for me so I could go finish up my work for the day. But the whole thing about it is, why in hell is anybody going on social media in the first place saying that they want this person killed or anything else? Just like it was even during the Obama years, and I was doing my contract work and working for corrections, seeing the same kind of crap, and it's like, do you not understand how to talk to people? Because I'm guessing they don't, because they never were educated well enough to have that. Okay, yes, you have heavy control talk, you have light control talk, you have normal talk, and then you just have everybody just be normal. But it doesn't happen that way anymore because of how politicized our news is, how our society is, how everything is. Everybody wants, nobody asks, nobody needs. There's a lot of need out here, but nobody worries about those needs. They worry about their wants more than their needs. Heck, I need radio shit. But guess what? My wants, that's my wants. My needs are making sure I have insulin, making sure I have an insulin pump, making sure I keep myself alive for my kids so that they know what their dad is about. So they know how much their dad respects their constitution. I mean, for crying out loud, I've been to DC 17 times. Never had a problem out there. Guess what? I will not take my kids out there anymore. Yes, I could get on the Quantico and have a fun day, a real fun day. But I'm not taking my kids on there. It's probably the safest place for them to be.
These days.
But yeah, these days. But I wanted them to see the monuments. I want them to see our history. I don't want to see some fruited down freaking bullshit that, oh, that statue, he was a slave owner. Please. Come on. That's our history. Yes, he was a slave owner, but this is what he did for our country. Show us that.
That's coming. That's coming.
No, that's not coming. We're going to make damn sure that that does not happen in the United States.
It's coming. Whether we accept it or not is a different story, but it is coming this direction.
Yeah.
It already
We
is.
allow it. It will be here.
It's already in parts of the country.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this is kind of already somewhat in play.
Yeah.
For those that are listening after the fact, audio only, Prep Hand Paul says we don't want the government coming in and regulating free speech online like what they've done in the UK and Europe. And I couldn't agree with that more. Like, we 100%, we do not want the government to have more control, because the government is already too big and it's too bloated. We don't need that. We don't need the government to come in and police what we can and can't say. What the government should step in on is on acts of violence. Cody, welcome back.
How's it going, boys? Hey, man, I've just spent a long day beating up the U.S. out in the desert. Okay, so we've been kicking their asses. Okay, so let's just say that. But yeah, man. Oh God, you got so many topics going on. It's kind of wild. But
yeah,
I would say this,
jumped on inside. I was like, oh my god.
It's,
but it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Chris is right, man. I mean, we might be in some type of civil war type thing. I think it's very subversive and a lot of collusion going on, and there's a lot of backdoor deals and stuff. And honestly, it's just I think that the blinders have been put on everyone so much so that they don't even know exactly what they're supposed to get mad at. They just get the red and the blue, or the black and the white, or that, and that's fucking frustrating, man. It's so much deeper than that, and people should just open their eyes. If we could, if we had legitimate sources of material to learn from, to come up with our own ideas and opinions. But I mean, how we ingest information nowadays, it's hard to get the truth. It really is. So that's where I'm stuck, man. I don't know what side I'm on because fuck, what algorithm told me what to be on that side? So whatever, man.
How's that saying go? Believe none of what you see, only half of what you hear. Right? As a society, we need to get back to that. We need to start thinking, hey, listen, I have a question about something. I'm not just going to take somebody's word for it because somebody that told me this is how it should be. I need to go out and look and go, hey, this is what I think it is. Let me go research this on my own, figure out what the answer is, formulate my own opinion on it, and then I should be able to say, hey, okay, this is my opinion because I've done the research. I've looked at the information. I've done my homework. And now I have a fully informed opinion of something. Not just take because, TikTok told me I should think this way, so now I should think that way.
You know what? You hit it on the button. You hit it on the button, Chris, because that's what it is, man. You know what we used to do? We used to get in bar fights. We used to get in arguments, and we used to fucking have slightly friendly discourse. And the only way we would solve it back in the day was, well, one, we'd have to pull out a book, or we're like, fuck it. You know what? I had an opinion on something, and my buddy thought I was wrong. You know what we did? We Googled it, and we set the story straight. But there was a time that when Googling it meant you found the information.
Cody,
But
the other thing is,
correct me if I'm wrong here, Cody, right? But that's like NCO 101, right? Is if you identify a problem, you don't just bring the problem up the chain of command. You bring the problem and a couple possible solutions up the chain of command.
Well, usually the way you have to do it nowadays is you got to present a solution before you even tell your boss the problem.
Oh,
God damn, that doesn't make sense.
No, that's the only way to get into their heads.
None of this shit that's going through and that's going on now makes any fucking sense.
It's for real.
It's part of why I was glad I got out when I did, because it was just getting worse on my way out the door, and I was like, "Fuck this."
But Cody, you made a point earlier that said, black and white. Why can't we all live in the gray, the in between? Try to figure out where we want to go with our lives, so to speak, our family lives, our personal lives, whatever, to where we want to go. I mean, yeah, all of us here could basically pick up a firearm and go, okay, we're going to war. And then we could all put them down and go, okay, let's go sit down at that table and we could have a decent conversation because, we were all brought up during that time where, yeah, we threw punches to our best friend, but we ended up sitting there finding out later on we were wrong and we found the right information and we apologized for it.
I think something that is not a virtue of the American citizen nowadays is the ability to be wrong. Right?
Correct.
We can't be wrong. We're not allowed to be wrong because anyone's opinion is everyone's opinion. And you know what? It's just be humble enough in a modern society that you might get told or put in your place, and your opinion was dead wrong. And it doesn't mean you get to go get on some sort of massive platform and prove yourself right when it was a simple little argument in the first place that could have been squashed with a go out back and punch you in the nose moment.
Hey, I agree.
Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Bob.
Paul, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for jumping on, being part of the conversation.
I just wanted to say that I'm not a Republican, but I'm not a liberal. I mean, a liberal either. I think I'm more of a moderate because I agree with things on both sides. But I think that when you said a couple of things already tonight, Paul, that I think maybe you should have reworded them.
Okay.
You said that you said something about Nazis, and that's what the left likes to refer to us as. the left doesn't all want to refer to you as that. Some I agree probably do, but not everybody on the left wants to refer to you as a Nazi.
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you there. I will say it is not the entire left. It is the extremes, right? We're talking extremes because um, we are the vast majority that is in the middle, and we're kind of stuck in the middle. But I don't know about you, but I take personal offense to people who have a differing opinion than I do, but because I lean more conservative, more libertarian, more in that those aspects of smaller government, like stay the fuck out of my life, that I am not a Nazi. I'm not a bigot. I am not a transphobe or a homophobe or a fascist or any of the other names that the extreme left likes to call us.
Well, I have been called names by the extreme right also. I mean, I don't think that it's the extreme left or only doing this. I think the extreme right does it also.
Yeah, I have to agree with Bob that.
They do.
With that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt that both sides have problems. I would say the difference between them is how they approach it.
Correct.
One side will say, "Hey, you're this." The other side will say, "Hey, you're this." And oh, by the way, because you don't believe me, I'm going to go kill you.
I respect everybody's point of view. I'll bet everybody on this stream has a different point of view about something.
Absolutely.
And I respect your point of view. You're totally entitled to your point of view. And there's absolutely no reason to be name calling or saying that you should be killed for that or something radical like that.
Exactly.
I agree completely. And Bob, I want to thank you for coming on. You've got a bunch of fairly right-wing conservative guys on here right now, and having an opposite opinion is awesome. So thank you, by the way, for coming in here. But how do you see us trying to resolve this divide that we've got? From your side,
Because that ultimately is the conversation that we need to have.
Conversation
right?
we're trying to have, yeah. Is how
I think social media is really a big cause for the divide.
I agree completely.
Yeah, most of us
I would disagree with that.
I don't advocate for censorship of social media.
No, neither do I, because free speech is free speech.
Correct.
Yeah, but you can't discount the legacy media as well in creating that divide.
Oh, I definitely.
And that's both sides of the aisle,
Both
right?
sides.
Like
we've already said that.
100%. Yep.
But yeah, that's the conversation we're trying to have, Bob, is how do we take the left and the right and actually have a debate and come up with that middle ground, which is what this country was really founded on. Was, it wasn't left-wing guys and right-wing guys. It was what's best for our people. And we've gotten away from what's best for our people and best for the country and gotten into the left versus right fight. And yeah, but career politicians with an agenda.
We've turned we've turned from a country that says what's best for us to a what's best for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the problem, right? That's the ultimate problem right there. Society has turned, especially with social media, right? Because if you look at social media, it's all about like, what can you do for yourself? How better can you be? What new things can you buy? How can you be better than your friend, or your neighbor, or your enemy, or whatever, right? We've turned from a country of people that says, hey, it's like that quote. It's not what you can do for you; it's what you can do for your country, right? We went from that to how can I be better than everybody else individually? Well, when everybody wants to be an individual and everybody wants to see how much they can have personally and how much their opinion is better than everybody else's, much more stuff they have than everybody else. How many more people can they, make look less than them, right? When you're in a mindset like that, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you, like, a lot of that comes from the left side. It comes from the right, but a lot of it does come from the left. Until we can get to the point where, hey, your opinion and my opinion matter, your needs and my needs matter, your vision of the country and my vision of the country matters. Until we get back to that, you ever have will never go anywhere. It doesn't matter. So everybody can stop saying me and start saying we. Will never go forward.
Well, now from my point of view, I'm older than all of you guys.
Yeah.
My point.
And with that age comes experience and wisdom.
That's right.
I'm 71 years old.
Yeah, you definitely got me.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, I could give a shit what you have. I mean, and I don't mean you personally. I mean my neighbor, the guy down the street, the guy driving down the street next to me or something. I could give a shit. All I care about is what I have, what my children have, and what my grandchildren have.
Exactly, and that's where we both sides agree. Is especially, I lean towards my kids a lot because I watch my kids, and my kids started off very far left, right? Then, as they get older, they start to swing more right, and then I look at my parents who were far right when I was growing up, and have started to lean more left. It just goes to show that there's both sides of the fence have good points and good things. And that's where what we're trying to get at, Bob, is how do we get what I used to peaceful discord, right?
I don't have any answers for you. I mean,
well, that's what we're trying to debate and figure out. And I know nobody has the answer because if we did, shit, one of us should run for president.
Thoughts on it though, Bob? Like, how do you see us moving forward? Like, I'll tell you, when Paul started this stream and then I jumped in, the first thing I said was, "I'm fucking angry." That was my first words to him. I am fucking angry. And I'll tell you right now, I am still fucking angry about what happened the other day. And rightfully so.
Yeah, and
past that and figure out how to have the conversation to stop that kind of crap.
Okay, so what are your issues that you're angry about?
What am I angry about?
Yeah.
I'm angry that a man who's come once in a generation, right, in a lifetime for a lot of people, was murdered on stage because he tried to have a dialogue with people. That's what I'm fucking angry about.
I got one for you, Chris. All right. Okay, and this goes for Bob too. Hopefully the generations can span my analogy. I think that our political spectrum is push me, pull you, right? And the problem that we have is we don't have a Dr. Doolittle that both sides can trust to translate to each other.
Exactly, Cody.
Yeah.
So I would agree that the right did have someone who was like that, who did translate or convey their opinion to, right? But I'm not sure that it was a true Dr. Doolittle that pushed to both mediums, right? So
I don't think we've had anybody like that since fucking JFK, and he was a Democrat, right? Wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have voted for him.
But there's just, I don't think there's anyone out there that both sides can at least half-heartedly trust to convey each other's opinions about it. If we find that golden goose, like, well, let's not kill him, all right? But let's fucking figure it out. But
let's not JFK him.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that. So, but that's really what it is, because everyone's voices, opinions, and everything else, with everyone being so super connected to each other, given technology nowadays, it really is going to come to a face. a face that we can see through that technology that we can absolutely trust, right? Will that be a half blue haired person, half fucking blonde haired Aryan looking white Caucasian with a nose ring, fucking amalgamation of both sides of the extreme spectrums? Maybe so. But we all have to literally just go, oh, yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, I believe him. Whatever he's saying.
If you look back in history, the three biggest figures to be assassinated, right? JFK, Martin Luther King, and now Charlie Kirk. One tried to bridge the political divide, one tried to bridge the racial divide, and Charlie Kirk tried to bridge the social divide. All three of them were killed for it.
And very, very, very few people understand that Martin Luther King was a black conservative, and the swamp donkey
he was
back in the day didn't like that, and they knew they were going to lose control if he got bigger and stronger, and yeah, he got Clinton.
No, Martin Luther King was a man, and I've learned a little bit about him since being in the Union, but UAW president at the time walked with him in Alabama and stuff like that. When he was murdered, the Union president was right next to him, the International, and he was a great man. He was a Charlie Kirk. He was a, of the other, basically the other one you mentioned. He was lightly Democrat, more Republican, so to speak. And he was like us. He was down the middle of the road. Why can't we come together?
Yep.
And you have what? 8 people on the stream right now, Paul? And all of us are asking the same question to ourselves. Why can't we come together? Why can't it be like 9/11, 2001? Why can't it be like that?
Watch what you wish for, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you this. 9/12/2001, I was woken up at 03:30, and it was not a nice phone call. So at that point, I was on duty because of what happened the day before. I was basically just getting done with a shift at the prison and getting a phone call from someplace that I can't discuss on here. So tell me, I would rather have that every year on 9/12 than have the crap that we had the last couple days. Because you not only had the shooting of Charlie Kirk, you also had a midshipman kill a bunch of his peers and stuff in Maryland. And then you had a school shooting how many weeks before that, and a school shooting a couple weeks before that. What the hell?
The day of.
At a school shooting this
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
The same day that Charlie Kirk was murdered, there was a school shooting.
Jeez.
I'll tell you what I think
is exactly right.
I think what would help to heal the divide, it's not going to happen, but if the president and the leading Republicans in the House and the Senate would get together with the leading Democrats in the House and the Senate and just talk to the American people and say, we're calling a truce. We are going to get together. We're going to pass bipartisan bills. We're no more of this bickering back and forth and arguing. We're going to get along. That won't happen, but that would bring the country together.
I'm sorry, but Cody's over in the Cody's over in the desert right now. In the United States, thank God, not over in the sandbox, in the Middle East. But he's training for whatever's going to come. Tony just got out of that mess. And then, the rest of us have all been there, done that. It's got to happen. Because if we keep sending people like Cody over there, we're not going to have many Codys left. In all reality.
One of him's enough.
Cody, don't leave.
Cody,
Hey, man,
let me smuggle you out of California, Cody.
I know.
I've already defected to the other side. Okay, we're top 4, man. Viva la Denovia. But
Denovia.
I want to ask Bob a question. Bob, what do you think it would take? What sort of significant event would it take to have everyone flying American flags in front of their house again, regardless of whatever spectrum they're on? What would it do? What a 9/11, a fucking fuck, or Mother Nature could fucking do it for us. What do you think, man?
I was going to say, what was the last time? 9/11.
9/11 was the last time that the majority of the country was patriotic.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Cody brought up a good point, is weather. If you look at what just happened in Kerrville, nobody gave a shit about politics up there. It was just helping each other out. So it shows that the good is there in everybody. It's just literally, it's what I think we've all kind of discussed is it's the career politicians and the social media that's dividing everything and making, because people have had purple hair since the 80s and nobody cared till now. You know what I mean? It wasn't a thing. I mean, purple hair, pink hair, nose rings, whatever, nobody cared. But social media, not this social media, because we're trying to fix the problem, but you look at the TikToks and the Facebooks and everything else, and all the algorithms. If I was messing around on Facebook, and Facebook is the worst at algorithms, right? If you start looking at a certain thing, your feed blows up with that certain thing.
Yep.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be, I'm going to inherit my mom's camper, so I'm starting to look at RV stuff, and I'm flooded with RV stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Politics as well, not just like buying stuff, but politics as well. If you start leaning left, your Facebook feed gets filled with nothing but hate towards the right. If you lean to the right, you get nothing but hate towards the left. It's really tearing us all apart. And until everybody starts, the critical thinking thing starts realizing that they're being steered in a direction, it's not gonna get fixed. And Paul was right with the way. Paul's getting men's thongs in his feet all day. All right. Paul, I don't want to know what you were looking at.
I'm glad we can add a little humor to this serious conversation.
But until
I want to come back and be like, no, this is real. Here's proof.
But yeah, I've been playing with social media, looking at different things and realizing, like I said earlier in the stream, my son had the right idea about just getting rid of it all. But yeah, what I was leaning towards is, even if right now all of the career politicians sat down and said, we're going to give up the us versus them, and we're just going to try and work on solving the problems, there's still your far right wing and your far left wing that'll never let it happen. The Nancy Pelosi will never let Donald Trump have a winning career, right? And that's what it's all about right now. If you look at the budget, we haven't passed a real budget in how long? It's always because they don't want to agree on anything, even when it's for the good for the people. So,
well, how many years has the Pentagon failed their audit?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, let's not go there.
Well, we're talking 40+ years, bud.
I like my black projects.
Yeah, it is tough, man, to watch politicians weaponize the system just to get a one over or get back at the opposite side. It's fucking disgusting, dude. That's dumb, right? Some of the convoluted shit where, like, I'm gonna fucking put this bill up on Capitol Hill, and it's gonna be fucking 7,500 pages, and you get 12 hours to read it. I'm over here like, come on, man, stop that. Just fucking get your happy asses, do working lunches, and you're all locked in that fucking room until somebody fucking figures the fuck out, right? Because we're paying your asses to do that. And another thing, I think every politician should go back to being a civil servant, not a fucking self-servant.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you.
Agreed.
You got term limits.
Because they're all guilty of that.
Term limits. We got a geriatric Congress. We got a geriatric Senate. I mean, look, half of them are freaking on some kind of psychotic drug, or they're alcoholics, and it's like it boggles my brain. We've got congressmen that don't have driver's licenses because they've got too many goddamn DUIs. I mean, seriously.
And they're sending our military wherever in the goddamn world they want them to go. So explain that.
Especially when it's like, why the fuck are we even over here at this point? Because I was questioning that last year.
Well, our country's being run by a freaking retirement home. No offense, Bob.
Wait a minute. There are no troops. There are no troops deployed in a combat theater.
Let me tell you, when she came out with that, and I was in Iraq when she fucking said that, I looked around and was like, huh, so these rockets are fake?
Love that part, man.
I think term limits would go a long way in helping with the government.
I agree.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Yep. So how do we go about getting term limit?
The same ones who don't currently have a term limit.
They won't vote for that for themselves.
Exactly.
But it has to be legislated.
And the states can do that if they have 66% of it. The states can force the federal government to rewrite laws.
Yes. When's the last time we've had the states come together?
A state referendum.
9/11?
It's been years.
9/11?
Ooh, speaking of
years. It's been years.
You know what? I proposed that question to Bob, and I think now I've reanalyzed what I said. What would take the American people back to putting flags on every single front porch? We can only read back to 9/11 and it being something tragic, and but it was politically driven. It opened up a door for a war and all this other stuff. That if that were to happen again, we probably could go back to everyone feeling patriotic, but there's still going to be outliers there that'll be like, no, there's some sort of subversion going on. So honestly, it would have to inevitably be some sort of catastrophic Mother Nature event, because then we don't have anybody to blame other than Mother Nature, right?
It's climate change.
Yeah.
Don't invoke Greta.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, she got arrested again, by the way.
Well, the polarized gas getting a little bit smaller won't actually stop an earthquake, but it might happen. Man. That's really what we need to call upon this blue marble to fucking set us straight and stop making us silly with each other.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I think Greta Thunberg should start an OnlyFans page.
Oh God, stop!
Oh Jesus Christ!
Because you want to see He-Man in female form, fucking naked.
Only you, Michael.
I want to
Only
see how
you.
much money she makes.
I love. Listen. All right, we got to add a little humor to this, right? But I absolutely love the memes of her picture and the fucking He-Man picture, and the haircut's the same.
Oh jeez.
Well, she's on that flotilla thing right now, out in like the middle of some sea or something, right?
Oh yeah, she's trying to get to Gaza again. And the last time
that's right.
she was arrested,
outside of
and kicked
Gaza.
out. She was arrested and kicked out, and now she's trying to do it again. And I think the last report was that they weren't doing so well on the high seas with all the hurricanes and stuff that are building off the African coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
not a
know,
good
man.
time to go.
You know what? I think she probably should start on OnlyFans because Ron White put it best. You know, you see one set of titties, you want to see all of them. So, you know, she'll make money. She'll make money. And you know what? You can put that money towards refreezing the ice caps. So.
No, it'll go towards the polar bears that are dying off.
Cody, I think you hit the nail on the head, though, man, when you made that comment about, like, a natural disaster. And I think Prep and Paul had a comment up earlier about the same thing. Like, the only thing that would make us go back to the way it was on September 12th of 2001 is a common enemy.
Yeah.
If you look at the entire history of the world, all wars were fought by groups of people with a common enemy.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
9/11, we had a common enemy. World War II, we had a common enemy. World War I, we had a common enemy. Civil War, unfortunately, each side had a common enemy, which was the other one. But like the Revolutionary War, we had a common enemy.
Well, I mean,
War of
Civil War, they still
1812, common
banded
enemy.
together on their side.
What's that?
I mean, Civil War, they're still banded together just on their side.
Right, I'm saying, but it was everybody bands together. Like the states banded together against the common enemy, which would be the other states, right?
Yeah,
Wars have been fought since the dawn of time against a common enemy. That's what brings people together. The only way the left and the right will ever be together again.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so then there you go, Chris. So let's say my catastrophic mother of nature event happens. Then thus, who would be the common enemy?
The environment.
Are we talking from an emotional
Mother
perspective,
Nature?
or are we talking from a logical perspective?
A logical perspective, in my opinion, what it would be is that if every individual citizen had to feel out of a level of survival and trust in their neighbor and everything else, your enemy would then become the people that are not providing the help, the people that you place that trust to. It might actually become a common enemy is our machine, our mechanism, our politicians. They might become that. So
look what happened in North Carolina.
That's where we could trust in each other going, yo, our system's broken.
Yeah. Look at that. Look what happened in North Carolina, right, Cody? Like the government was preventing average citizens from helping.
Yep.
And it blew up in their face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because more citizens banded together to help because the government said they couldn't. Right?
But so, all right. So I guess the ultimate question, right? Because this was covered in my monologue, right? We need to get back to community and focusing on our local community, right? But so how do we do that without a natural disaster or without a major crisis, right? How do we get back to us looking out for our neighbor and respecting one another, regardless of differing opinions, just for the simple fact that we all live in the same communities?
That right there, Paul, is very simply of respecting one another when out in public. It could be as simple as holding a door for a person coming in a store as you're walking out. It could be as simple as you grabbing the door as you see someone coming out. It could showing a simple sign of respect goes a lot farther way than just forcing it on somebody by talking to them.
I'll be right back. You'll have to look at my ceiling for a little bit here.
No worries, Bob.
What the hell is that? Just kidding.
There's a bug.
You know what?
No, listen. I greatly appreciate the conversation, because I truly believe that we need to have this conversation. We need to have this conversation more often, right? And this is where, like, I touched on it a little bit in the monologue, but one of the things that I struggle with, right, is what impact does me and my channel have on the community that I have, right? And to me, right, it's well, there's not much of an impact at all. It's just a bunch of us like-minded individuals that get together on a sporadic fucking basis these days, and we discuss the things that matter to us. But at the end of the day, like, what really needs to happen is we need to have these conversations where we can openly debate differing opinions, where it's not just that we're like-minded individuals, it's that we're a collective of people that are like-minded in many ways, but we have differing opinions, and we can get together and we can discuss those differing opinions in a positive way. And in that regard, if one person watches this live stream and takes something positive from it and goes back to their community and decides that they're going to do something good, that one person that we have affected change in, that is, in essence, what we're striving to achieve, right? It's one person that's enacting a positive change because of what we're doing. And if next week one more person hears what we're saying and they say, yeah, and you know what? Like, what these guys presented as far as points and arguments makes sense, and I'm going to go do something good. You know, and so while it may seem to us like an insurmountable task, right? How do we enact this big change that we're looking for? I don't think that we need to look at it as trying to do the big change. We need to focus more on our local communities and on our communities that we're involved in. And if we can enact a little bit of change, that little bit of change will grow, and it'll grow, and it'll grow. And I think that's where we're winning, whether we want to see it or not, right? And I think that's where we're winning, because yeah, I mean I have the greatest self-doubt of anyone, and we're all our own worst critics. So
Yeah.
as long as we can kind of shutter that inner dialogue and say, you know what, I'm going to keep going forward, because if I can give a positive example to just one person, then hopefully that one person is going to emulate that positive change that I have shown them. And then somebody else is going to emulate that positive change, right? And then it becomes that snowball effect. So I think at the end of the day, like, I'm 100% grateful for everybody that's in the chat. I'm 100% grateful for you guys joining me on the stream. I think that this is a small step. It's a baby step in the right direction, because we're engaging in open dialogue. we're allowing for differing opinions to come in and argue their point of view, and we'll listen openly and willingly and present our side and listen to their side and engage in that mutual give and take. That's my take.
You know what happens, Paul, when you have our side listens to their side and their side listens to our side? It becomes a collective our side.
Becomes one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one side.
Yeah. It's collective. It's not you, it's not me, it's us.
Yep.
And that's what we need to get back
Because
to.
it is us. We are all American citizens, regardless of political leaning, regardless of morality and values, religion, skin color, and any of the things that people can use to divide us. We're, at the end of the day, we are all Americans. And so that is the us. And we need to focus on that.
Hey, Chris, I don't chase your boy away. How old is he? And I want to see what his opinion is on what's going on right now within the last week.
He, let me just tell you this. Brandon just passed on hamstudy.org's practice test for his ham technician. So I'm really proud of him of that. I'm studying for my extra right now, so he's working on his tech, which is really cool. But he was at Horseman Middle School here in Sheboygan, where he goes. They brought up 9/11 as a remembrance, which I was very surprised about after 20 some odd years. And you guys all can guess that. We all lived it. We all were there. We all had our different areas where we were at that time. I got a phone call at 10 a.m. and then I got a phone call at 3:30 the next day. So you guys can figure that out. Paul knows about it because we had a nice POTA and we are able to discuss some stuff off camera that I prefer to keep off camera for certain reasons. But, he was just telling me he was going to bed, and I'm really proud of him for passing the practice. Now, one of the nights when he's over, we'll have him sit down with the VE team from HRCC or Toads or Hamburger Club course, ham course. I'll pay for the fee and I'll get him to do that. And
it's only $5. It's only $5 if you're under 18.
That's even more of a bonus. So
I identify as a 17-year-old.
Is there a
Cody, you can't. Sorry.
Hey, Chris,
what are you saying, Bob?
I said, is there a senior discount?
Oh yeah.
No,
Bob, you get all the national park for free, so too much free stuff for you.
That part is true.
So, Chris. So, my question is that what is his opinion on what's? I don't know how newsworthy he is and what's been going on, but what is a kid's thought pattern about what's been going on just this week? We don't even have to stretch to just 9/11. Yay. We all that's neither here nor there. I'm just curious of what a kid his age's opinion is on what has happened this week with Charlie Kirk, the Naval Academy, the school shooting. How does it affect them? That's why I wanted to ask him.
He when the school shooting happened, I brought it up to him, and he goes, "How the hell did someone get a gun in the school?"
Very
easily. Not every school's got armed guards and metal detectors at the front doors.
Not all of
correct.
them.
No. Yeah,
not all of them.
Not correct. But the biggest thing that happens especially in my house, and I know of Paul, the way Paul teaches, taught his 10-year-old. You don't. Yes, I have loaded guns in the house. Don't get me wrong. I have them locked up for a reason. Now, keys access to those weapons are very easily done by me, not by him. Okay? There's a reason why I'm having him do that at this time because number one, I want him to take hunter safety. Number two, I want him to be smart about usage of a firearm. Will he ever join the military? I don't know. It's up to him. It's not up to me, if you know what I mean. So I want all these things to fall into place correctly. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, I want him to serve. I want him to serve in the military. I want him to become a police officer. I want him to become a firefighter. I want him to become an EMT, paramedic, whatever he wants to do. But he doesn't understand how kids are taking guns into schools when you're there to learn.
The first question would be, how did kids get the gun in the first place?
That's my
If you
question.
walk down the street and go, "Hey, can I buy a gun?" Most people are gonna go, "No."
In Washington,
You're in the
D.C.,
right
Ken.
part of town and know the right people. It ain't hard, and they ain't gonna question it.
I mean, when
Right,
I was
these kids aren't those kind of kids. These kids aren't the kids who are gonna walk down, you know, Cherry Hill or Strawberry Mansion in Chicago and go, "Hey, $50 for a firearm." They're not gonna do that. These people are getting it from their homes or from other places where they know they're not secure in the right way.
Bad parenting by parents that don't understand firearms.
That's true too. I mean, when I was in high school, we had kids, dudes my age, during hunting season, they had a shotgun and a rifle in their rack when they pulled into the parking lot with their pickup truck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We had no
Yeah.
problems with guns.
I
We had
graduated
no
in '94, and we had that.
We had no problems with all that crap.
Well,
I graduated in 2000, and we had that in high school.
It's because
we had that in
sticks and stones.
Oh, you just freaking made me feel real old, dude.
And dude,
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I graduated in 93. We still had guys that had shotguns in their trucks for track season.
But so the difference is, I'll tell you, okay, the difference. So, like my kids, I taught all of my kids from the time that they were 3, 4, 5 years old. The 5 rules of firearm safety. Treat every gun like it's loaded.
Yep.
You never point a gun at anything that you don't intend to destroy.
Yep.
Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot.
Yep.
You know your target and what's behind it.
Yep.
And you treat every gun like it's loaded.
Yep.
And why is the first one and the fifth one the same? Because it is the most important. You treat every gun, toy or not, as if it's a real gun and it's loaded. And so I have no problem whatsoever with the fact that I've got 3 rifles hanging on the wall that are loaded. Those are my boy's rifles. Those are his. He owns them. And I know 100% without a doubt, he will not take any one of those guns off the wall unless he knows it's unloaded, it's safe, it's good, and then he's going to take it, he's going to put it in the bag, and he's going to transport it to wherever he's going to go shoot because I taught my son right.
Right.
Paul, Paul, it's important. I'm not trying to dispel the notion of teaching firearm safety, but the problem that we have in school shootings is not firearm safety. I guarantee you, any one of those kids or
up here.
fucking college kids that got a gun from their house or anything, they know all the fucking rules. So you know what? I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna say, hey, instead of teaching my kids firearm safety, I'm going to teach my kids how to solve conflicts in a fucking in incremental way, right? If I got a kid that's bullying mine, right, and that my kid's fucking at his wit's end, my kid needs to know how to fucking pull the old jersey over the head and give him a couple pops and go to fucking and get suspended for a few days, right?
Right.
And go
Yes,
that
because guns aren't the solution.
No.
Yeah.
Well, both, but it also we also need to teach our children how to control talk, how to light control talk, how to normal talk to people. Because if they aren't able to do that, they have to go to either fisticuffs, as I call them, or to firearms, or to some other weapon. You know, it could be knife, baton, taser, whatever. So if we can't talk to people, that's where our problem is. It's talking to people. We can go
A
to those
weapon
other
should always
options.
be your last resort.
Exactly.
Conflict
Mouse in your
resolution.
brain.
Yes, Dave, conflict resolution.
How about this? You know what? We're saying all these new terms. Bob, how were you taught how to deal with a bully, man? I want to know. That's a generation past. Bob, please tell me. Tell me how your
how'd
dad.
the boomers do it?
Say that again.
Your dad or your mom, how did they teach you how to deal with your bullies?
Whoop their ass
with my fist.
I got taught when I was a kid, don't start a fight, but if I get into a fight, I better finish it.
Yeah,
that's what I tell them. That's what I tell mine. Like I tell them, like, hey, you don't start it because if you start it, I'm gonna start on you when you get home. But if you, but if you are getting hit first and you're in the middle of this fight and they started it, you better finish it. And like I told them, like you have every right to fight back and beat their ass. And in fact, and I straight up told them this too. I was like, in fact, if you don't beat their ass and win, you're going to be in trouble still just to mess with them.
Well, stick them in a hard place,
Well, a
man.
bully can't be a bully if everybody stands up for themselves.
Very true. No, yeah, and then
Correct.
fucking
Yep.
Rabbit just
There's
said
only
it.
2 D's in dodgeball.
So let's take that to the conversation we're having, right? Because Paul, Paul, you asked about like how do we fix the problem, right? There's the answer. The bully can't be the bully if everybody stands up against the bully.
Correct.
So these mouthpieces that are a minority in the country causing the majority of the problems, if everybody just stands up and says, enough, we're done with you, it's time they'll eventually stop.
That's it.
Yeah.
The
Bob,
problem
you had a
is
question?
not everybody's going to do that.
Yeah, just off topic for a minute. Paul, I saw something in the news about New Hampshire and marijuana. What did you hear something about that today?
I didn't, but it's a regular occurrence. We continue to push our legislature to legalize marijuana in the state of New Hampshire because we're a fucking island all on our own. We're the only state in New England that hasn't legalized it. I guarantee, even if it passes the House and the Senate, when it goes to the governor, Ayotte will veto it just like Sununu did.
Oh, hey, I just found an article from a day ago and it's funny. It's from the marijuana moment is what it's called. New Hampshire lawmakers to move forward with marijuana legalization bill despite governor's opposition.
Yeah, again, we keep fighting the governor, and the governor, like, so we did this with Sununu, and he vetoed it, and then he vetoed it again, and we're doing it again. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason, and yes, this is way off topic, but the only reason that New Hampshire refuses to legalize marijuana is because New Hampshire wants to do with marijuana like they do with booze, and New Hampshire wants to run the game.
Yep.
The state wants to run the game. And because it's not legal federally, the state can't legally run the fucking game.
Bingo.
Can't have state-run fucking pot shops if it's illegal federally.
Come to Missouri.
And that's where we just need the federal government to say enough is enough. Remove marijuana from the fucking narcotics list. Get it off the fucking the schedule fucking 3 or whatever it is, and just fucking make it legal.
The funniest thing I ever heard about marijuana was marijuana is a gateway drug. I said, to what? Diabetes
All it does is make you hungry.
What? The last time I smoked was like 15 years ago. Honest to God. And I fell asleep after I ate. I was done. That's it. That's me. I'm a sleepy drunk and I'm a sleepy pothead. Done.
Hold on. Have you ever heard of somebody overdosing on marijuana?
Yes. And it's the funniest fucking thing you've ever seen.
Yes, because they called 911 on themselves and said, "Oh my God, I took too much pot.
I can't feel my feet.
I
tripping balls.
You have feet?
How many marijuana fucking intoxicated drivers have killed people? The answer is 0.
0.
Yeah,
because
drive slow.
Hey,
because somebody that is super fucking stoned is not going to blow through the stop sign. They're going to sit there and they're going to wait for it to turn green.
Hey, you want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
I speaking of smoking and driving, I smoked one time with my buddy, and we were supposed to go to my other buddy's house. This is when I was living in Pennsylvania, and I had to go up over a hill, and I was about halfway there, and I stopped and pulled over on the side of the road, and I said, "Where the fuck are we going, and how the fuck did we get here?" And he said, "We're supposed to pick up so-and-so." And I said, whose idea was that? Why the fuck am I driving? Yeah, I turned around and went home. I said, I'm too fuzzed out to freaking think about
Were
driving.
you able to find your way home pretty good?
Oh, yeah. It was on the same road.
Cody, what are you drinking?
Me? Oh, I'm drinking PBR because I'm a classy broad.
I thought that's what you
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
pats on the back.
Dude, it could be cold, it could be lukewarm. I don't give a shit. It will happen.
You know what?
Hey, Cody, when you get a chance, come through Wisconsin. I'll hook you up with a good tour of the PBR facility.
I'm pretty sure I've already paid for half of that facility in the last 20 years. So,
so have I.
Don't
I got
worry.
a PBR in New Hampshire last weekend.
Yeah, you did. Hey, don't worry about Chris. He's from the Cheesehead State, and he's almost a Canadian.
Yep. Almost a Canadian.
There you go, Michael.
You guys seen that funny little advertisement of the 96 pack PBR?
Yep. I said so, buddy.
So what's funny is I'm from Missoula, Montana, right? And we got this little grocery store there. It's called Orange Street Food Farm, right? And they sell the most PBR per capita west of the Mississippi. I'm talking every fucking college kid drinks PBR in my hometown. And they made the 99 pack specifically for that grocery store. And then when they had all the advertisements, it was that grocery store in it. So maybe it's in my blood, but I don't know. We'll go with that. I'm glad that switch gears. I'm glad that Mike brought up that story about driving on weed. I remember the last time I smoked weed. It was 19 years, 4 months, 3 days. Who's counting? And I'll tell you what, you know what, I'm a professional speeder. I'll do 5, 10, 15 over everywhere I go. But that day, the last time I did smoke weed, I was driving 5 under all the way. So it's
Only
true.
you, Cody.
It's true. Yeah, man.
Hey, Chris, this is for you because you're almost Canadian.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm drinking.
Maple flavored ham because you're a maple flavored ham.
Yeah. Oh, where the hell is it?
good God.
Is that ham?
I don't want to spill it.
No, it's
New
maple.
Glarus?
What is that cow doing?
Nope.
The other cow.
Well, yeah, what is that cow doing?
It's
It looks like it's fucking a steak.
about 45 minutes south of me. There is Miller Cures, Pabst, and New Glarus Brewery. I picked up some New Glarus Spotted Cow tonight to enjoy while we were having the stream here.
If you keep drinking that, you might just see a spotted cow.
Nope. I already thought about that. But the last time Paul came up and did a photo with me early July. I think he said he stopped on the way down and you picked up some spotted cow, Paul. Is that correct? On your way back down to Illinois?
They had 3 cases of spotted cow at the drop zone.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got to go to Wisconsin for that. You got to go to Wisconsin to get it because they don't sell it outside of Wisconsin.
All right, so I don't mind at all that we're veering off topic, and I'll keep the stream going as long as we have some good conversation to talk about. But Greg Miller in the chat says that he missed seeing me at Huntsville, and I agree, Greg. I wish I had gotten to see you. But he asked if I was using the Shacking Off morale patch. So I gotta share this.
Shacking off
in my garbage can.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Greg.
You should see the sticker I gave him at the 24-hour POTA. It was a Grouch looking out of a trash can like this, so he put it on his window, so it's looking out his window.
Oh, he's like, hold on, let me just grab it.
Because he gave me 2 of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah,
Well,
so this one's going to go on the other side of the RV.
I didn't realize I won something on Prep Ham Paul's channel, but I got a Cantenna.
Oh, you got it. Sweet.
What?
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Oh, was that during
I
the
can't
giveaway
tell.
live stream you did like a month ago or something?
No,
Paul,
Prep Ham Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, Prep Ham Paul.
Prep
Yeah,
Club.
there's a guy in Japan that makes antennas out of cans.
Bottles and cans?
I've seen that, yeah.
So
bottles and cans, just clap your hands.
Yeah.
I need one now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have
2
to
turntables and a microphone. All right, yeah, no, boys, listen, this has been great. I really appreciate everybody that's been in the chat. Ryan, thanks so much for the 2 magnets that I got from you at Huntsville. They're on my fridge. I think this is great, and I think it's important that we engage in open discourse on a regular basis. And so I'm gonna make it a point that I'm gonna do these Weekend Warrior live streams more frequently, because we've kind of gotten away from podcast recordings because I've gotten busy in my travels and whatnot. But these live streams are a fantastic way for us to get together, interact live with the chat, and just have an open discussion about what it is that's on our minds. Most of us in the stream are military veterans or actively serving. For those that aren't, that's okay too. I appreciate the civilian perspective on the conversation. So let's just quickly go around those of you that are on the stream, and and we'll just kind of give some parting thoughts on the topic of the night, and then let's do this again in 2 weeks. All right, boys.
Hell
So let's start with Michael Tortoise. Go ahead.
Oh, geez, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. I've got people at work that are not of the same mindset that I am. But you know what? We work good together. We have a good time, and it doesn't matter. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about you, Bob?
Well, can you hear me okay or
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. I believe in paying it forward. Buy a meal for somebody that you don't even know. And don't stick around and wait for them to say thank you. Just don't expect anything in return. And like I guess like everybody else was saying, help your neighbor. I mean,
Yeah. Random acts of kindness, Bob.
surely there's somebody in your neighborhood or down the street from you or something that and I don't know where y'all live, but I live in Missouri. We do get snow here. Shovel their driveway for them. Next time you're going to the store or something, call one of your neighbors and say, "Hey, I'm headed up to the store. Do you need something?" I mean, you don't have to look for a pat on the back or something in return. Just be nice to somebody.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
100%. Cody?
Well, you guys all stole my thunder. I was going to talk about breaking bread with your neighbors and, eating a good meal with your neighbor across the street and then talk politics. But, okay, whatever. All right. But I will say this. Yeah, no, absolutely. Love thy neighbor. I'm not spiritual, but love thy neighbor. Break bread with thy neighbor. Make sure to give that motherfucker his weed whacker back.
In the same condition or better than when you borrowed it?
Definitely better, of course. Put the wire back on, fuckers. But no, man.
An empty tank.
Back to the Grouch, man. Dude, you know what? Yeah, we need to get on here more often, and some of us are all more guilty than others that we haven't kept up with it, but we're gonna go strong. I will say this for everyone who is listening or watching, all of us are ham radio operators. And although we might talk about politics and military humor and therapy and all that shit, I guarantee this: we will not get on the air and talk about our gout or other fucking medical ailments.
We will not run the 80 meter net.
Interesting. All right.
Not yet, anyways.
I can't tell you how many times I'm scrolling through and I hear it and I'm like, I'm not doing this, and I just keep scrolling away.
All right, Anthony, what do you got? Final parting words.
I mean, just fucking respect everyone. Stop being a fucking turd. Treat everyone equally. Everyone's the same. From the wise words of Samuel Jackson, I'm an equal opportunity ass whooper. So, you fuck around, you're going to find out. I don't care who you are. I don't care what ethnicity, race, gender, whatever the fuck. If you're going to be a dipshit, I'm going to treat you like you're being a dipshit. But definitely more on the streams. I'm, like Cody said, I'm guilty of not even bringing it up either, because I know I really started trying to join up on you on damn near every one of them, but even I started kind of falling out of that. But this was a great topic or topics, and we just need to keep doing this.
All right, Chris.
I agree with Anthony. Agree with Cody. Or with Cody. There's a lot of things that need to happen, and we all need to figure this out. Being on the veteran side, the Army side, law enforcement side, whatever, We all need to vent. And we're not all right. We're not all wrong. We all have an opinion. But we need to walk down that middle of that aisle so that we can see both sides. And this will help a lot of us figure out where to go with our lives. Other than that, check out Chris Radio Life and basically just watch for videos. That's it.
That was a quick.
No harm in a shameless plug.
Funny.
All right, other Chris, Radio Rustler.
You know,
Are you still fired up and pissed off?
Yeah, I'm still mad, but that's
But
not
a little
good,
better?
I'm mad that somebody died unnecessarily is what I'm angry about, dude.
I agree.
Be a critical thinker. Okay? People need to get back to be critical thinkers. Be strong in your convictions. Be strong in your beliefs. Be humble enough to know that you may be wrong at times. Right? Be open enough to hear the other side, taking what they're saying, and then possibly maybe change your mindset a little. I want to quote Charlie Kirk on something, but I can't remember how the quote goes, so I'm not going to disgrace him by saying it. But I'll kind of paraphrase. If you can change one mind by having a discussion, you can change their heart, and by changing hearts, you change the world.
Yep.
Very cool.
Well said. All right, how about you, K Booty, Dave?
Well, yes. Agreeing to, I live in Texas, so we're all pretty nice to each other 99% of the time anyways. But something that kind of resonated with me, and I had to look it up. The country was founded at the Statue of Liberty. It says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free."
Cool.
Right? That's what our country was founded on.
The melting pot.
The melting pot. We need to get past the bullshit and go back to being the melting pot. I may not agree with what somebody says, but everybody's free to their opinion. But that's where it needs to stop, is everybody is free to their opinion. You don't need to try and kill somebody because they think differently than you. You just everybody needs to be able to accept somebody else's opinion as their opinion, because that's what it is. On the more, I guess, the other side with the social media stuff, that video you posted with how we're all getting social engineered, blow that shit up and let everybody understand that they're being pushed in a direction. And once everybody realizes that they're getting pushed in that direction, maybe people will start critical thinking and going, hey, if this is what's going on, maybe this guy's not all that bad. And that's kind of where I'm at is I agree with everybody's opinions. I'm glad that we actually had people with varying levels of political ideals on the stream, because it takes this melting pot of everybody to talk to each other, to kind of not far right, not far left, but let's all meet in the middle and be the one group, as opposed to what we've got right now with this divide. So that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. Well, yeah, and so once again, I just want to say a big thank you, because I was sitting last night and I was seeing all of the videos and the news coverage of Charlie Kirk's murder, and it really bothered me. It really bothered me that we as a society have come to the point where it has become commonplace to enact violence on anyone that you don't agree with. And I think that Charlie's take on things was the best, right? Where we just need to have the open dialogue, because when the open dialogue fails and we stop talking, that is when violence becomes acceptable. And I think we're not too far gone that it's beyond saving. I think that with enough of us speaking up and saying, look, we need to talk, right? We need to talk. It was the title of this show. We need to talk. That is what matters. And as long as we're able to engage in an open discussion, then there is still hope for all of us. And there's still hope for this country. And I stand by my earlier statement. America is the greatest country in the world. And it's high time that we started acting like it. And so, on a personal note, I want to thank all of the channel supporters, all of the Patreon members, everybody that pays money monthly to help fund what I'm doing here on this channel. And if each one of these shows resonates with just one person, then I'm going to consider that a win, and I'm going to be happy with that.
Can I ask a question?
So, yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I know you're wanting to end the stream because it's getting late, but I don't know. Maybe I've missed something. But if you saw any of the news coverage of the suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing, of his murder, you see the still photographs of the guy coming up the steps, and he's got a backpack on. Where's the gun? You see the video across the roof and then climbing down off the roof. I didn't see a gun. Did you see a gun?
So yeah, no, I mean, in none of those pictures did I see that. However, I'm gonna take the kind of devil's advocate point of view here and say that I guarantee not everything that we are being presented is all of the information.
Correct.
And so, there are guns that can be disassembled and easily put into a backpack.
He
Or
had
collapsible, foldable ones.
Wait, hold on. He had an imported Mauser 30-06. That's kind of a hard gun to break down.
No,
Okay.
it's not. Not with the
You can
new
take it
technology
apart.
out there.
But
Yep.
if you just shot someone, would you take and your intent is to get away? Would you take the time to break the gun down and put it in your backpack?
It's
If I don't want to get caught later, yeah, because otherwise they're going to take fingerprints off of it, and you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all I can say to that is we definitely do not have all of the information.
No.
And so we're making the best inferences that we can make with the information that we have. And listen, in no way, shape, or form is this stream promoted by anyone or sponsored by anyone. But I will say that I personally use Ground News because it presents different news articles from a wide spectrum of things, and it tells me whether or not it might be a blind spot to the left or a blind spot to the right, and it gives me the ability to look at all the different news takes on any given incident that is being reported in the news. To me, it's worth the money that I pay monthly for the subscription. Do without what you will. Like I said, I get nothing from saying use Ground News. I just like I always do. I refuse to promote anything that I don't personally use and I don't personally recommend. I don't get paid to promote anything. So having said that, yeah, we're not going to get all the information. It's just the fact of the way that life is. We're not going to get all the information. So I hope that those that are in authority, the law enforcement officers and the people that are investigating everything, I hope that they're doing everything in a true, non-biased judicial way, and that the justice will come for Charlie Shooter, because that's the right thing to do. We need to have justice for a situation like this. That being said, again, I appreciate the conversation. I think that we need to engage in open dialogue more often, and I'm going to do my part to have these live streams more frequently. And I welcome you guys to join me back again in a couple weeks when I do this again. Dave, thank you so much for the $100. Thank you, very appreciated.
What I missed?
And with that, I will say 77. Thank you all so much. God bless, and have a wonderful evening.
Later.
Thanks, Paul.
Nice.